Target acquired.
Eagle 1, first strike. You have permission to engage the target.
Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Why am I not on screen? There I am. All right. Welcome back to the show, guys. Tonight we are going to do the debates. Sci-fi, nerd drama, whatever we want to call it. I was just over on Glenn's stream. Some of you were there, some of you weren't. Man, I got to tell you. The interesting thing is, Ryan, I don't think Ryan's stupid, but he knows. The reason I was so incredulous is that he knows that the things that people are being used against people who don't want to, who say things against certain people or who talk about certain people in a certain way. Well, those are civil rights violations, right? And those, the left has gotten it to where it's very weaponized and very direct against a lot of the conservative rhetoric. And so if you say something like, for example, the Palestinian supporters not letting the Jews into their schools, that's an example of that. And those people were, even though that was against the law, technically, those people claimed that it was a civil rights, that they had the ability to do that. And so now that it's turnabout fair play, where these same civil rights laws and the ADA has been used, age discrimination and employment act. I never say that right. And then there are the state and local anti-discrimination laws. So basically, if I say that I don't want to hire this 20-year-old trans dude, and he goes and he gets a lawyer, they sue me, and I have to hire the guy, or I have to pay a bunch of money. And this is a problem with Ryan's argument. Now, he knows that. I know that. I felt like a lot of people knew that. But unfortunately, the way the panel was going, everybody's just talking over each other. And I was actually a little bit incredulous that Ryan didn't just actually own up to understanding that these are the laws that are passed, right? That these are the laws that have been used, have been targeted and weaponized by the left against the right. And now the right is doing the same thing against people on the left who are saying bad things about Charlie Kirk. And he cannot be so stupid as to not realize that both Parker, Dean, and that third mophead little guy, I can't remember his name, all made really disparaging tweets about Charlie Kirk being shot, made very disparaging remarks. And then when they realized that the rhetoric was going to go against them on that, they went back, or after, I guess, maybe 10 minutes of thinking about it, I don't know which, but at any rate, they went back and deleted all those tweets. Now, some people have saved those, and they are out there, but those tweets were deleted. And then the next thing you know is they're sitting there crying and whining and, oh my God, Charlie, I didn't like Charlie, but this shouldn't happen, which was crocodile tears and completely fucking fake. And to just deny that is just insanity. And this is my problem with a lot of this stuff. So I just wanted to say that. And I really don't like Ryan, I don't wish a guy bad or anything. I just don't like him. I don't think he's a good debater, and I think he detracts from any channel he's on. I think that the other day, I know the other day we were trying to have a discussion in this on this show, and Ryan was just going batshit crazy. And he actually insulted one of my mods, and when I kicked him, we ended up having a really good conversation once Ryan was gone. So I don't know. I don't know, guys. I thought it was just me, but apparently it's not just me, so whatever. Anyway, welcome, Agrillipus. He was first in the chat tonight. Solid work, sir. Good to see you. Anson Knowles quit the internet again today. The Steel Man's all up in the house, spurging out, which is cool. Good to see you, man. Subprime. I'm going to assume that's Anson. Subprime Master. I was going to assume that that's Anson in different outfit. Thumping Weevil's up in the house. Did I say for men only? I didn't say that. I didn't say for men only. Glenn's stream earlier was for men only. That was really weird. Mister, what's up, man? Cool. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Never Lucky Rubber Ducky's up in the house. Awesome. Very cool. Hopefully we'll get some other people to wander in here. I'm hoping Tyler will show up. If Tyler doesn't show up, we can't really do the debate, and we'll just end up having another chill stream. Let me go harass him, see where he's at. He was like all excited about it last night. Yep. So, just got back from the memorial. Yeah. All took shots of tequila. Yeah. I don't drink at all, man. Never have. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. For manly men only. That's the man card. The man card has the man card is is for manly men only. You can't get a man card if you're a female or a less than manly man. And it can be revoked. Yeah, I like the man card graphic. That's awesome. That's awesome. Whew. The fellow that came on last night, the horseradish, he reached out to me. He wants to do some more stuff together. That dude was cool. We had a great time last night. I actually thought last night was going to suck, but because so many people had stuff going on, and it ended up being a great night, to be honest with you. So that was pretty cool. Casimir's out there. Tyler's will awake. Maybe he'll jump on now. So we'll see if can. In worst case, if we, we'll just have another chill panel. Although Tyler will be mad 2 in a row. Well, hopefully we'll get it going on. So hopefully we get everything going on. Did you guys see me on whatever yesterday during Brian had a special event, I guess you would call it a special stream. And he had me up, and we were like, we're having a great time. And he had to go get some water or something. And I stepped up and led the show for like 5 minutes or so. It's pretty cool. You should go check it out. I think there was something like 4,300 people in his stream. It was rad. What's up, Smoking Spaceman? Good to see you, my man. Good to see you. Yeah. It is a special stream when I'm on. That's true. It is. I'm special in ways that only my wife knows. I'm going to send Brian a link. What the fuck? Why not? He's not doing anything. I should send it to him on Instagram. Let me see if I can get him on Instagrams. We'll throw it out on the gram. Yeah, I got to be honest, man. It will if they kick Ryan off. It'll become a much better conversation. I'm just telling you. Look, I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to be a dick about it, but I just know that last week or 2 weeks ago or whatever, we had, hey, what's up, Brain? How are you? Good to see you. You don't have to just stop in and say hi. You can hang out, put your feet up, chill out a while. All right. I just sent Brian an invite. But anyway, yeah, we got to get some more people in here. I can't believe Tyler's not here yet. I'm going to go ahead and drop the link. There we go. Did my camera freeze for a minute? What's up? What happened? It was weird. Cool, Smoking Space Man. That's awesome. Good to see you. Good to hear from you. No freeze? No, it's weird. Anyway, yeah, so I sent Brian the an invite. Maybe I should send it. I think Andrew's streaming or will be. I'd send him one too. All right. Where are my guys going on? I also don't understand the fascist thing, like it's really weird that that our boy is just so hung up on fascists. It's very, very strange. It's very strange. You go live in an hour? Awesome. That's cool. What did you guys think of hey, what's up, Neo Van? Hang on, I got to stand by. I apologize for interrupting my own self. There we go. Perfect. The Evangelist, John Mosman. What's up, my man? How are you? Corey Barton, welcome back again. I'm going to drop the link and then I'm going to pin it so you guys can jump on up and we'll pinned up there at the top now. So you guys can start coming on up. We'll start thinking about maybe sort of kind of have a debate tonight. Mr. So here's the thing about this. Even if we were to say, well, it's really not, it's not, we can have the court structure, we can have the election structure, we can have all of that, and it could still be fascism, a type of fascism. Even if we allowed that, that's not what Trump has done. Trump is not acting as an authoritarian. Now, is he pushing the limits of the presidential power? Sure. But to be honest, he hasn't gone as far as some, right? And, it's interesting. It's very interesting to me. It's very interesting. Now, I could be wrong, but it seems like if Trump really wanted to, he could push harder. He could go further. He's not. Why would that, the problem is that there's just there's got to be a rhetoric. There's got to be a mantra. They can't just go, okay, yeah, he's doing a decent job, but who cares? So what? This is a difference, I think, between right and left. Like, I didn't like Biden, but I didn't call him a fascist, and I barely called him a socialist because he wasn't even really socialist. He was inept. He was incompetent, and that's what I called him. I said, Biden's incompetent, right? Like, he's incompetent. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's a sellout. He's a proven criminal. So I don't have to say he's a socialist. I don't have to say Biden's a communist. I don't have to say he's any of those things, which really I don't think he is. I think he's just he's an opportunistic fuck. But I don't have to say that, right? I can simply just say, yeah, this is what Biden is, right? Like, he's an opportunistic fuck that's probably a criminal, and is has bad stuff going on. Correct, Neo-Evangelist. That is correct. Fascism is a grouping of all resources and having an autocratic usage, even if he abuses off is clearly not a fascist by definition. True, but again, there's just no. You can't get these guys. Can't get these guys. Okay, so Corey Barton. You're talking about Biden being fascist. See, I honestly think a better argument can be made towards Biden being fascist than Trump being fascist. I think that you could find more examples of where he exceeded his authority, where he was trying, and even if he didn't actually exceed his authority, he acted in such a way that he was moving more towards a fascist perception or position. What's up, Anson Knowles? How are you, sir?
Hey, what's going on, man? It's debate night. We gotta get some peoples up here.
Yeah, we gotta get some people coming up here to debate Frodo and Bilbo and
yeah,
Frodo was Bilbo a bachelor his whole life, or did he have a side piece somewhere?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know anything about that Tolkien nonsense. That was all just like pedestrian garbage from my perspective. So I'm gonna do really terrible at judging tonight. I'm just gonna have to stick solely on the
merits of the argument. Oh my gosh.
Because they I don't know anything about it. Now that BBB chick, she needs to get up here. She's a nerd. She's designed for debating nerd stuff.
Well, we're gonna do nerd stuff here just shortly. So John Mosman is now triggered, and that, ladies and gentlemen, I have now endangered John Mosman's life. He's frail at the moment. He's had a lot of health issues, and I have triggered him. Go ahead and cancel me now. Just go ahead. Yeah. I'll wait. I've triggered John Mosman. Anson did? Okay, Anson, you're in trouble. We got to cancel Anson.
Yeah, all I did was say that Tolkien is trash fiction. I mean, that's all I said. So
is that what you said?
Yeah, I mean the artistic level of Tolkien is equivalent to, I don't know, 50 Shades of Grey.
What?
Well, 50 Shades of Grey and
you gotta make that
all
argument.
of Tolkien's work are equivalent in artistic ability and talent and merit and worthiness to be considered, high fiction. The Tolkien's just garbage. I don't know why people like it.
How can you be a monarchist and hate Tolkien?
Yeah.
What's up, Sport Brand? How are you, brother? So, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to be a part of tonight's show, just click the link. It is pinned. You need to adjust your sound and camera and jump on up, and we will be debating tonight. Now, this is not a panel debate. No. I have both balls, and I'm not interested in men. So this is a real honest to gosh short format bloodsport debate show. And the way it works is you come up. We sit around we get a bunch of people up here, a lot of people. And then we pick a couple of you and we throw you into a debate with each other. You get a 1 minute opening, each person, and then you get a 5 minute back and forth. And at the end of 5 minutes, you will be judged. Now, there is a little bit of a problem tonight in that while it seems like we have a reasonable amount of people coming in and out, through the outdoors, but the problem is, and it seems like we might have good contestants, I'm down 2 judges. I believe that Glenn is still live and banging his head against the wall that is the lack of intelligence of Ryan. And so I don't have him as a judge. Tyler, when and if he shows up, is definitely going to want to debate and not judge. So he's out.
Just make me the sole judge, Grid. That'll fix the problem.
And then the other potential judge, Cleaner, has not responded back yet. So we'll see what we get.
Yeah, you'll get the summary judgment from the subprime master debater himself.
Mm-hmm. All right, we got one brave soul entering the ring. We have John Mosman. He's got an avatar of Tolkien on a haystack. Where did you get a picture of Tolkien on is that a haystack or a hobbit house? What is it? What's he leaning against there? No, he may be adjusting his mic. Good evening, Mikey Ball. How are you? Good to see you.
Tolkien's leaning up against the petrified corpses of all the people that dared.
I'm telling you right now. There's a lot of things I can tolerate with Anson. He's gone too fucking far.
He's gone too far. All right. Well, maybe we'll do a special edition.
It wasn't me talking about pegging that did it. It was this. Because I've gone into some deep dives on pegging before, so.
As it relates to orcs or what?
Just the general, the general zeitgeist around pegging. But if you want to draw the line at Tolkien, then that's fine too.
That's interesting, I guess. How are you, John Mosman?
I'm doing well, even though he just, has completely made, so he has just, words cannot even describe it. To compare the genius of Tolkien to someone like the guy who wrote 50 Shades of Grey, that right there should have him looked up as mentally and clinically insane right there.
Yeah, I don't think he'd find a lot of people who would disagree that Anson is probably clinically insane. We'll have to reach out to a doctor on that one because that's a specialist subject.
None of the 7 therapists that I've seen during my life have diagnosed me with anything that was clinical in terms of a permanent disorder of some kind. Yeah. I've asked every single one of them. Okay.
Plot twist: they were all the same person. Yeah. Well,
give me a second. I'm trying to bring my camera up real quick.
Yeah, no worries, man. We're still getting started. This is the thing about this kind of show is that it's never the case that we just like everybody shows up.
You probably should have me as a judge because there's
you're triggered.
Very few people. Well, but there's going to be very few people who can go toe to toe with Tolkien on me.
That sounds like a personal challenge.
There's a reason why I have an entire bookshelf and an entire shelf of on my bookcase just dedicated to Tolkien and things related to Tolkien. So,
yeah,
what you're telling me is the lore,
not just that, but the man. His beliefs, the cores of his values, the things that inspired him to create everything that he did, all of it.
Was he a drug addict like all the other English authors?
No, he wasn't.
Oh,
And in fact, all of these fucking hippies want to say that that all of the hobbits were doing was smoking pot. It's not true. There's a reason why they called it Old Toby tobacco.
right.
Like,
Yeah,
so
I actually figured that part out myself, but
like all the quotes people use that they misunderstand, they completely take out of context. They don't understand it. Like the one that really gripes my ass is not all who wander are lost, but a lot of people will put not all so the actual technical quote from the book is not all who who wander are lost, but a lot of people say not all who are lost wander, and it's like basically they've changed one little small word in that, and it completely means a different thing, which is like, oh, there's nothing wrong with Wanderlust. I just want to be a neo-pagan, hippy dippy, go out in the woods and smoke dope, kind of, explore and not be a part of anything, conventional or whatever. But what the quote was actually referencing is actually Aragorn, and saying, hey, the reason why he doesn't step up to do his job as king is because he doesn't want to be a king, because of his beliefs and his frailty. So he's choosing exilement not because he's afraid, it's because he's choosing to be that way. Which is why he's the only one I would never accept for king, and you could never accept. There'd never ever be anyone in the history of the world in real life that could ever come close to being the kind of king that Aragorn was, which is why I gave up on the romance of monarchism long ago.
So, John, the only thing I heard out of everything you just said is that all the hobbits suck some guy named Old Toby.
Yeah, that sounds like what Anne's want to figure out.
That sounds like your brain.
Yeah, so that's interesting. That's an interesting point of view.
I don't actually hate nature. I actually don't hate nature, Steelman. No, I don't.
It's interesting that so many of the British authors during that time period, and even before, I mean, Conan Doyle was a user of cocaine and heroin both, and I believe that most other English authors were experimenting, or just not necessarily experimenting. They just used it as a hobby. They were hobbyists. And so it's interesting. I always wondered if Tolkien was, because some of the things he talks about are pretty rad, pretty out there.
No, he wasn't a druggie. You got to remember, for him, what he saw a lot of different things. For one, to him, if there was an opiate, it would be in getting into fairy tales. But even he said that fairy tales is not the true escapism that everybody says it is, because the reality is that you can't really shirk reality. And if you look at his stuff, what he writes really isn't like fairy tale stories. What he writes is warfare in a different world. Lord of the Rings is literally a book of war. It's
really a book about a long walk with some friends. Abe Dinkus, I really hope you're doing better. I caught your post earlier today about you being under the weather. I hope you're feeling better. I have missed you on the debate panel, my friend. You bring a certain element to the panel that I really feel like is missing right now. So I hope you feel better. If you feel okay and you want to jump up and hang out on the panel for a little while, the link is pinned. Go right on ahead and click it. Sorry for interrupting you, Mr. Mosman. So let me ask you this. So do you think Tolkien, in writing Lord of the Rings and all of that, do you think how much of an influence do you think that actually had on Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman as they were writing the Dragonlance, which then became a big part of the foundation for Dungeons and the resurgence, or the not resurgence, but the what would you call it? The
Genesis.
The Genesis. Thank you. Of Dungeons and Dragons as a role playing game, with delineated people, which a lot of people attribute to Tolkien, but is actually in my opinion, it has nothing to do with Tolkien. I think it was just Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman.
Another contribution that women have given us A complete waste of time that
the right
nerds
time.
do that prevent them from breeding.
Oh my gosh.
Well, no,
we
I
all
don't.
can't
I don't
be
think that's
Coomers.
true.
We can't all be Coomers. We can't
So-
all
so-
be Coomers.
So Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman. So what do you think about that? Do you think that they were?
Well, there's no denying that like Tolkien had a huge influence on a lot of people. Now, that does not
Sure.
mean that because he influenced certain things.
Mhm.
For example, a good example is this. We do know this. If there's one work of fantasy that he directly had the most impact on and influence was The Wheel of Time. So much so that Robert Jordan himself said, like, Lord of the Rings is very much a huge inspiration to me. And when you read, especially the first book, The Eye of the World, there's a lot of kickbacks and a lot of alludes to the Shire, right? With the two river folk, right? There's the idea of these idyllic people living in this very isolated farming community that realize that there's a greater world. Like that's all straight out of Tolkien. And so obviously he had an influence.
I mean, it's straight out of a lot of books, though, right? Like pretty much every medieval folk tale is this boy, this
which
page
one? Which
or this
one?
squire or this
Give me a medieval tale that you think is exactly like that.
Richard the Lionheart, and the story that's told from the view of his page, who was a poor lad who Richard picked up off the trail somewhere and fed after he tended his wounds in a battle, and then he went on to become a knight. That's all. I can't even remember the actual proper title of the book, but
what about Sir Gawain and the Green Knight? That's kind of similar.
Yeah.
Well, there is similarities. There are similarities, but they're not the same. And
right.
Obviously, we would argue, and a lot of people would argue that since Campbell made this distinction, that there's always an understanding of the beginning of almost every story is that somebody comes from a place where they don't know that and really hero stories in a lot of ways are about adolescence or coming of age type of stories where they they start off as boys or near men and then end up becoming men, right? So yeah, all of those tales share that kind of thing, but to the specific of the idea that the hobbits who have literally no idea, like some of the stuff you could read, like obviously there's a reason why some of these people want to be knights because they've heard the stories. Or with the hobbits, they have no idea what's going on. They literally live in a kind of like a gleeful kind of ignorance about the wider world. And this is something that Tolkien is directly coming on as explaining something to the fact of that a lot of people especially who lived in very rural areas, especially in England, when by the time World War I did come about, that those things kind of came. So there's things I think are more explicit of that influence of Tolkien. Obviously, he took some influence from that as well, but obviously the point I think is important to remember in all this is that even though he directly contributed to and influenced Robert Jordan, the spiritual world, the metaphysical world of what's in the Wheel of Time series versus Lord of Middle Earth is completely different, right?
Mm-hmm.
So would you say that, because I think A Wheel of Time is one of the most successful kind of like Buddha adjacent type of spiritual fantasy series, and that's not from Tolkien because obviously Tolkien was a Christian.
Right. I mean, I think that there's some truth to it. You can't deny that a lot of these people were kind of influenced by various things. And if you look at like the Deathgate Cycle written by Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman, again, that it's actually, it kind of almost tries to build on the idea of Middle Earth and all of these different, even to some degree, Jordan's, rendering or the ripping of the earth. Well, they don't call it the earth, but
yeah, I know what you mean.
And so, with the having the earth itself, pulled or broken into 4 different realms. You know, earth, fire, wind, and water, or air, I guess. And then there's like a warrior race, which I don't remember the name of, and then they had to survive this test in in the labyrinth, which I think has influenced some other books. I mean, all these things are really related, right?
Yeah. Well, that's why when everybody says, like, okay, so obviously there's no denying Tolkien's influence, but he really isn't the granddaddy of fantasy fiction.
No,
the guy,
all the people that wrote Greek mythology thousands of years
I'm
ago.
talking about the fairy tale fantasy style. I'm not talking about the obviously it has influence in the Greek mythology. You're right.
Yeah, they stole it all. That's where
they didn't. They didn't steal it
Yeah,
all. They didn't. No, they didn't.
Yeah.
But the modern kind of fairy tale that we know now, it's the granddaddy of that is George MacDonald.
Mm-hmm.
And he influenced everybody. And he influenced Tolkien, he influenced Lewis, he influenced everybody. So,
well, I mean, I think you have a lot of people in a very specific time frame, right? That we're all kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah, but George MacDonald was doing it before they were, because even though they were alive around the same time, George MacDonald, I'm trying to remember The Princess and the Goblin was written in 1872. Fantasies, which was another huge influence, was 1858, and then Lilith was 1895, which are his biggest known works, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, but I mean, so in that time period, like right after Tolkien releases Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah.
Which was I don't remember when that was. It was like
it was in the late 50s.
Late 50s, right? So you have people like Raymond Feist, right? Raymond E. Feist, and who wrote the Rift War cycle, or whatever it is, the Rift War, right? And I actually didn't finish that series. I need to kind of go back and do it. But he started that based on as a alternative to Dungeons and Dragons, and so and they called it Midkemia, or I think that's it, mid whatever. Fuck. Anyway,
I know what you mean.
Write a book before that though, called Silmarillion or Silmarillion.
Silmarillion.
Yeah,
the Silmarillion. Well, that was Tolkien.
Yeah, but that was after, right? So so he obviously worked on some of that stuff long. You got to remember, some of the stuff he wrote started in different phases. So there were things of the Silmarillion that he was doing during World War I, right? But long before he did The Hobbit, The Hobbit is technically his first published work for fantasy. But the Silmarillion was not published till after his death, which was in 1977, after he died, because it was done in 77. His son Christopher finished it. So that even though that's a prequel and that's the origin story of Middle Earth, that was the last of one of the works. And then there was a couple other ones that came out in the 90s and 2000s, which Christopher and then one of his other grandsons now had put together from other stuff, because he was writing ever since he was in college. And when he was in World War I, that was what was getting him through World War I, was writing the stories, because he was in a club with his university friends, which was the progenitor for the Inklings, right? Which is the group that he was in with Lewis and other people who they meet at the Eagle and Child.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, the first time C.S. Lewis, because C.S. Lewis,
we're really boring everyone. But that's
okay. We need to stop Mosman from talking for a minute, because he's putting everybody to sleep like he usually does.
Remember, guys, it is a debate night, so let's get some people up here. Let's do some debating, and let's.
I'll just go, Anson, since that's just clear. Since you made it clear.
I know that.
I like you, man. Stay here.
I know that Tyler is tied up. He says it's going to be closer till 9 my time till he gets here. I guess I don't know what he's doing. I think maybe he's debating somewhere right now. I don't know. I was hoping Casimir would drop by. I really wanted to talk to that guy without somebody interrupting him every 3 minutes. So Arthur Dye is showing her feminism here. Big fan of modern fairy tales like where Snow Migrant Boss Babe and the 7 trans rescue the prince. Yeah, that happens. So, yep. What have you read besides Tolkien?
Aragon, Bersinger, Eldest, all those ones.
Like, I mean, so have you read like all of the Wheel of Time, which I have not finished the Wheel of Time either. I need to finish it.
I have not finished it now.
It's a hard, daunting process, but when you do, you'll be thankful. Although, I'll be honest, after like the 6th book and until really Brandon gets involved in it, or Branderson, whatever his name is, they kind of drove off. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he was old as fuck.
Yeah.
Jordan was like ridiculously old.
Well, and Jordan always had Jordan was kind of like there's always the funny. He's the Stephen King of fantasy writers because he will fill you with a scene with stuff that really doesn't mean anything, but he does it because he's so obsessed with creating the world, which is like Stephen King was, and so like he will focus on things that really don't really push the story along, and you go, F, man, this has been like 3 chapters of this crap. Like, come on, let's go back to Rand, you know? It's like, I don't care what these, you know, and that's why like Shiva says he doesn't like the way he writes women in that story, which I can understand that. I mean, but I do think
I actually really like the way he writes women in the story.
I actually do too, because it's kind of
so you know what? It's interesting because I don't, you know, because in a lot of books, you know, people when they put in a same-sex relationship, it seems really contrived, right?
Oh yeah,
like super contrived. But when he has whatever fuck her name is, the blue, how do you right there on top of my
Lily Phillips.
Who?
Lily Phillips.
It's not Lily Phillips. It starts with an M. And she's a main character. Anyway, so she becomes it comes out that she has a lesbian relationship with the head of the Aes Sedai, and I was like, you know, that totally makes sense. Totally makes sense. I don't like it, but it totally made sense. And Jordan's ability to do that. I mean, I don't know. I actually like his ability to draw that picture in your mind of all of the various things, and he'll go down these random what seems random, just like talking about you know, finding some knife in a box in a wall, and it's like, why do we talk about that? And then all of a sudden it's like important. It means something. So, but I like the Wheel of Time. I thought it was a great book, or books. And then, but I don't know. I digress.
I love it. I love it too. Don't get me wrong. I love it too. I just am aware of the criticisms that people make of it. But in that way, a lot of times it reminds me of a lot of how a lot of D&D sessions go with the Wheel of Time, because, you know, you pick up something that you think is arbitrarily, you know, like, you know, you pick up a knife and then, oh crap, it's cursed you, you know?
right. It really does seem like that.
Curse. Yeah. And that's how D&D is. Like, I've got people who go when I DM, and they'll go, okay, what's in can I look in the box? I go, yeah. You can do something else. Well, what can I do? Well, you can do whatever you want. I'll open the box. Okay, open the box. You know, and then and they don't realize like it's like I had a group where people, there was like 6 or 7 of them, and they go, "Can we cross the bridge?" And I said, "I don't know. You want to try it?" They're like, "Yeah, sure." I said, "All at the same time, right?" They're like, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, the weight of the bridge gives in because you guys are heavy and because of all the weight."
What a sick DM, man. That's cold blooded, man. What is
No,
wrong?
but seriously, if you're going to be the kind of person that doesn't treat a certain aspect of reality, the situation, like, I'm sorry, if you don't check for traps, you don't check for poison, you don't check for curses, then if you're just looking to grind XP and kill, then I will make it a challenge in that other way.
John says, play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right. John's like FAFO, mofo.
Hey, Grid, there's some concern on Arthur part. She says that she doesn't know anything about Tolkien, and so she's not going to come up. Can we debate things unrelated to Tolkien? But
I mean, we could talk about Star Trek, Star Wars, all that stuff.
Yeah. And the last time we did this, I was able to find like issues related to nerd stuff that discussed nerd stuff tangentially, but was actually like gender dynamics or relationships.
Yeah, but you had some pretty weird ass prompts as well. So I actually sat down one day as I was sitting at my desk and I was goofing off, and because that's really what I do at my desk inside. I don't actually do any work. You guys, I don't have any work to do, right?
You see that? You see that, Grid?
Nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be a John versus what's his name? John versus Tyler debate tonight. That's what it's gonna be. But then that'll be it, because apparently nobody else is showing up. I don't know where everybody is. They're probably over at Glenn's listening to Ryan get wrecked. Because maybe not. Looks like Ryan. I just checked. Ryan left, so that's good. But Andrew is live. Yeah, Andrew's always live when I'm live. That doesn't bother me.
I like Ryan. He's a good guy.
Only because you can make fun of him. If you couldn't make fun of Ryan, you wouldn't like him.
Radical Cooper?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like he's a really, he cares an awful lot.
He doesn't care enough to understand the Civil Rights Act.
Paige ate him a new one last night on Sarah Tomatoes.
What's that?
Paige got him good.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Missed that.
I think it was like 5 hours, 59 minutes in.
Yeah.
What was the subject?
I can't remember exactly, but it was basically the Charlie Kirk situation.
Oh yeah, he's really he's one of those that he's gonna. What's really stupid. Look,
well, he was upset about that this morning because he was claiming that some people were misrepresenting him on that. So, but who knows?
Well, look, here's the deal. I'm just saying. I'm just going to say this. I'm going to say the quiet part out loud. Look, Ryan blindly follows anything the left has put out.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude's
Marilyn, I don't care if BK is on or not. It's irrelevant to me. So we don't do the same. We don't. I mean, we do similar things. We don't do the same thing. Just like I don't care if Andrew's on or not. Andrew's.
He got all the books.
Yeah, he's got the whole collection, man. He didn't check it out from the library like me.
Joseph Pierce is a great writer. This is about C.S. Lewis stuff. He's good on C.S. Lewis and Tolkien. And then you're gonna love this, Grid. Look at that.
We got.
The Great Hunt.
Oh yeah.
And you know what's great about this? That even someone like Anson can appreciate. When you see a woman scantily clad in like a white, like see-through fabric, and she's like telling you you're the man and you're the best thing and you're all these things and you can use your power, like that's probably like a sign that she's probably an evil, vindictive bitch, right? If you don't know, you know what I'm talking about, right, Celine?
Yeah.
I am a nerd. I know. I'm a big nerd. Huge nerd.
Yeah, I
That's
just
why.
realized I'm not nerd enough for this panel. I apologize for all of my prior comments. I
Apologize for not being nerd enough.
I am I'm just gonna chill and judge debates, and I cede all arguments to John related to nerd related.
Yeah, he's there, man. He's there. I read a little bit of everything though, so you know.
Yeah, I mean the only sci-fi nerd related stuff that I could sit through and read is all of the Dune related material. The rest of it, I mean, I read The Hobbit, and then I didn't understand why people liked Tolkien after I read The Hobbit.
Really?
Yeah,
That's what usually like locks people in.
Yeah.
Do comics count? I read a lot of like
You see this,
mangas and things
Rick?
like that.
Yeah, comics are totally nerd stuff, man.
Yeah.
Hardbound copy and very good condition. Yeah. This was a steal. People go, where do you find some of your stuff at? And I go, a lot of times at the thrift stores.
Huh.
Great place for books.
Yeah.
But I've always been in a used bookstore kind of thing, you know. That's what I missed. I think this generation is going to miss out on is they'll never have that kind of feeling of going to a used bookstore. And
my
like,
kid does.
Well, but I mean, in general, right? Like, there's some of those things that are becoming lesser, right? Like going to a record store and smelling the vinyl or you know, listening to it.
My kid will make my wife stop at a used bookstore. And it's like one of his favorite things. My son, no kidding, we went to a used bookstore and he found a few things he liked and we bought them and everything's fine. He got way more excited over a set of like a complete set of used encyclopedias that one of my tenants left in one of the buildings. And I was like, and it's like a war encyclopedia. It has all the battles and stuff in it. And he was like, yeah.
By the way, Grid, I went because they had the 50th anniversary for Jaws.
Oh, look at that.
And so you remember the billboard and all that. So this is the popcorn tin.
Nice.
Right? And then this is the cup.
Yeah.
It says Jaws 50. And then you're going to need a bigger boat.
Yeah. All you need is a rifle. Arthur Daya, most of the books you've read are philosophy or politics related. I think most books are philosophy related if you actually read them. I have a wide variety of things I read. I've read literally, when I was younger, I read all of the Hardy Boys books, and then and there's like 60 or 70 of them, and I read all of the Nancy Drew. Ran all of the Nancy Drew. The Nancy Drew were not as good. I'm going to be honest with you. Very improbable. And let's see. I read a lot of books, a lot of biographies.
I love books in general. That's why when I go through stuff like I've got a lot of.
You're too far from your mic, John.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I said I like a lot of books. So this is like I like a lot of music biographies. You know, like where it talks about. So I've got one on Bob Dylan. This is a good one. I think anybody that calls himself conservative needs to have this book.
What is it?
The Conservative Mind by Russell Kirk.
Oh, yeah, Russell Kirk, yeah.
From Burke to Eliot. And I would agree with Russell Kirk that that Burke and T.S. Eliot are the most influential writers, especially coming out of England for the conservative movement. Had another good conservative from England. You remember this guy? Sir Roger Scruton?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And this is a book called The Hobbit Party. It's basically about the politics of how to live like a hobbit, basically. And it's by a philosopher named Jay Richards. Who's great. He's got a lot of great stuff.
Did read the Alfred Hitchcock Young Detective series. I did read that. And and that because they had the question mark that they used as their symbol on their business card. Achilles.
So
awesome.
yeah.
I read a lot
So
of I read a lot of biographies. I've read a lot. I used to read
a lot of
textbooks.
stuff. I love books any kind. I love any books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to read textbooks, but I've read a lot of fiction. I've read all of the Clive Cussler books. I've read a lot of other series of books.
And by the way, I actually have I think not all of them, but almost every book about the Forgotten Realms, which is D&D lore. D&D books. So. I'm a nerd.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that. I mean, I don't know. I think there's a lot of different things. Went to a city event tonight, and a lot of people didn't like my Deport Liberal shirt. That's rad. That's rad.
Cam.
Oh, that's awesome.
I used to trigger my college professor's grid in college. I'd have because obviously the 2000 and 2004 election happened when I was in college. And so one of them I had was during the 2004, I had a shirt and it was like Scream, like the Scream logo and that with the ghost face, but it had Carrie's face and it said Scary Carrie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I get kicked out all the time. I trigger them all the time that's why I always say this, I'm too conservative for college because that's why I never succeeded because I could never, one, I had some legitimate disabilities, but secondly, I could never just shut up and listen to someone tell me bullshit and just parrot it and just go, oh yeah, that's true. Even if I knew it, I'd say, well, I'll just say it because for their case. No. Why?
You didn't just argue with the professor in the middle of class? That's what I always did. No,
I didn't have to. They would see something I did, and then it would struck an argument.
Yeah.
I did.
I used to argue. I used to argue with my instructors, especially. So I minored in philosophy, mostly in Asian thought, but obviously there's a core that you have to learn in philosophy. And I used to argue with my professor. Loved it. He ate that shit up. He was just like, yeah, that's cool. He was a really cool dude, but it was interesting. It was interesting. I had a good time in college with with most of my philosophy professors.
What was great for me was I had a philosophy professor, and so and even though I'm not as hardcore about Kant as I used to be, I still think that Kant has a lot of great stuff. And in fact, I was filling out that little survey that Sarah sent out for people and said, okay, what's your thoughts on this and what's your philosophy? And and I'm like, well, I do kind of subscribe to the Kantian constructive model, which I don't know if you're familiar with that philosophical stand, but anyways, I basically told them, because we had the scenario and it was like, okay, you're in a village, and to be honorable and to be diplomatic to this village, they've given you the honor of saying you have to choose somebody to kill somebody in your party, and then you'll be accepted. But if you don't, all the people in your party will be killed. And I said, well, then let's just burn down that entire village and let them all die. And they're like, what? And I was like, and then I started doing the whole Al Pacino thing from Son of a Woman. I'm going to take a flamethrower to this place.
It's interesting.
And I argue from Kant's view that, hey, we have a duty to actually eliminate people who would believe such arbitrarily stupid crap. And he said, and my professor gave me a B.
That would be using people as a means to an end, though, right? That's the opposite of Kant's belief structure.
Right. So yeah, he would argue that there's a duty that has to happen. And so, but I would argue often from a Kant perspective. And one of the things he often says is that there's a duty involved intrinsically with truth. And that and part of that intrinsic truth, that duty to that truth, is to be to speak it. And what I was saying, I was going a little bit dramatic here, Anson. I was being a little hyperbolic when I said just burn down the place, because I was just doubling down on what they all think Kant would say anyways.
Yeah. So I got to address Arthur Dye here. So here's the thing, Arthur Dye. This is I mean, you know, it's a small point, but so there is not a so my minor was philosophy. My emphasis was on Asian studies. I call it Asian thought because it was all about the perceptions, the ideas of from ancient to modern times. You know, the one reason why you'll never hear me use Confucius quotes is because I'd listened to that for like 2 full years. I was like, this is insane. I don't want to do that. Yes, Asian philosophers, Asian. So philosophy also often my philosophy teachers would put sort of not really religious, but like some of the what the fuck are those monks again? The Buddhist monks and the Shaolin and the there's some others. There's some other monks, and those are all philosophy, or they all have a root in philosophy, and so we studied that. So and that was the majority of the philosophy classes I took to get my minor in philosophy. But there were other people who studied a lot of different things. I took that emphasis on Asian studies because at the time in my town, a new Japanese factory was being built for Nissan, and there was a lot more. You know, we had refugees from Laos and Cambodia coming in, and it just seemed like, you know, maybe I ought to understand the people that were moving in next door to me. So, you know, I just thought I thought it was cool. They're very Asian philosophy is either like super peaceful or super warlike. So it's not really a in between. It's like kill everybody or save everybody. Not much in between. So it's pretty awesome. What's up, Tyler? How are you, man?
Doing all right. Getting by over here. Just setting up the stream, putting up the things to get people to join and shit.
Where's all our sci-fi guys, man? We've got the Lord of the Rings King in here tonight.
Yeah, and we got Kinetic Kel asking what the topic is. Kel, it's nerd
Kel,
night.
it's a random. It's a debate. It's the debate. You know, the round robin. So come on up, have fun.
Yeah,
hey, what did you guys think about the thumbnail for tonight? Was that rad or what?
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I took How to Charm a Chinese Wife into Marrying Me. I mean, it worked. So it's only bad if it didn't work.
Here's a great hot topic: if there's a whale there, where there's a whip, there's a way. That song from the animated Return of the King. That's like the greatest anti-war song of all times. We don't want to go to war today.
Yeah, and somebody's made it into a something that Rob Noor plays all the time.
All day, all day, all day.
Yeah, they have so many different versions. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Although I do think the Orson Bean stuff from The Hobbit is better. Like the greatest.
Okay, I got a Lord of the Rings prompt for you here. Are you ready? Did Gandalf manipulate the Fellowship for his own ends, prioritizing the destruction of the ring over their individual well-being?
No.
I mean, Gandalf is basically as old as time, so I don't know about that. He could have just said, screw it all, and just gone with other people.
I mean, he knew he was going to live.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you can make
He
an
fell off
argument.
he
that
fell off the cliff to the Balrog and actually like survived and shit.
you can always make an argument that like a wizard like Gandalf, especially, that he maybe not doesn't tell you all things, but that doesn't mean that he is trying to do it for his own manipulative purposes. It's because he may not know the right thing to say, or because he understands that certain people have to hear certain things. And I'll give an example of what I mean by this. So if you've read the books, or if you've seen the movies, at least, hopefully, when he talks to Aragorn and says, "Don't tell them about his son. Like, don't tell him about this. Don't like."
I actually really like the topics.
Basically, he knows that
Yes, I do, Mr. Thor.
in order to free Theoden from Saruman, he has to kind of, you would take a walking stick from an old man. He knows that he has to do that for the better purpose. So he will not always be truthful and upright, but that doesn't mean he's doing it for his own ends.
Kel, it's really good to see you on here. You seem very much in control. Is sobriety working well?
Are you back home?
Yes, thankfully.
Thankfully, you didn't like hanging out with your dad.
Yeah, just it's hard when, anytime you want to tune into a stream or call your friends, you have to like stand on the one area of the porch. Tough titties.
Well, that just means you have more time to do other cool stuff than talk to your silly friends. Anyway, so I got a lot of really good topics. I'm going to run down some of these just to see, check the temperature, see what's up. So, for example, we'll go back to let's do another Lord of the Rings one here. Was Sauron's desire for order and control a more practical approach to governing Middle-earth than the chaotic freedom of the free peoples?
Ooh, the Thanos question. Was he justified in snapping? I'm not going to sit this one out.
Yeah, all right. I'm just gonna throw off some random ones here. Okay, were the Sith, particularly Darth Vader, misunderstood revolutionaries fighting against an oppressive Jedi regime?
I could get behind that. Could you imagine if they told Anakin that they could have just healed his mom instead of him her dying? That would have saved the entire series.
Yeah. Mosman, are you okay?
Oh man, all the Sith tribe. I mean,
The which one?
It's one
Sith. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to acknowledge that like Daniel LaRusso is the bad guy in the Karate Kid. There's some other movies where that's obviously the case, right? But like, let's not kid ourselves. The whole reason why the Sith did what they did is because they like power, and there was an emotional catharsis and connection to that power.
That sounds like a great argument to make.
If anything, the only restriction there was the stoicism and I would say the very imposed, almost borderline authoritarian way they went about trying to impose stoicism. Would.
All right. We're not debating these yet. These are just just to give you little teasers. These are teasers. Is the Federation's utopian society secretly dystopian, giving its reliance on replicator technology and suppression of individualism in some cases?
Of course.
That's good, right? That's a good topic. That's good.
I'm still stuck on the whole, the Sith being the bad guys thing that Mosman's doing. I don't understand that.
Yeah. Okay. Another Star Trek one. Should the Prime Directive be abolished, as it often prevents Starfleet from intervening in morally justified situations?
That's actually a good one.
Yeah, I know. I do that sometimes. That's good.
The problem with that is, of course, that the Prime Directive is totally like, it's kind of like it's a kind of a weird mixed bag, because at times it's like wanting to not impose things. It's almost true libertarian in some ways, but in other ways, it's very much like, well, let these other people deal with their business. Who cares that they're burning down a Wendy's in a Louisville, Kentucky neighborhood? Let them just rage. They have their they don't know any better. They're lower based animals. It's like,
all right, so let's see. Were the elves selfish for abandoning Middle Earth instead of staying to fight Sauron alongside men and dwarves?
What, you didn't see the movie? They fought at Helm's Deep, don't you know?
I know. But they should have come in earlier. Anyway, are the Klingons' warrior culture and emphasis on honor more sustainable than the Federation's diplomatic approach?
I don't know if it's more sustainable, but I like it more.
Yeah, they were cool there.
All those prissy Federation,
Was
liberals,
Aragorn's
what they are.
reluctance to claim the throne of Gondor a sign of weakness or humility?
No, humility, 100% humility.
No, I viewed him as kind of like unsure of himself, like maybe he didn't have the self-confidence he needed, kind of like somebody who wasn't raised with a father figure in their life. Aragorn's kind of like the beta savior model. That's really what that whole series was written for, was for the betas to feel like they could have something to identify with.
No. And read between the lines, Anson, okay? Read between the lines. No. If you know anything about that character, you know that he understood the frailty of human. He understood the sinful nature of human. He saw how kings, and I get this, that someone like you who is like a fanboy for kings wouldn't understand this, but he understood how men in that role of power and authority have failed and had often done a lot of bad things. And a good example of that was the current steward of Gondor, who sent his son to try to manipulate the elves into giving them the ring so that they could fight back, fire with fire. And again, they were obviously too much caught up in the mechanisms of their over self-confidence to actually then cause themselves to fail to see it. And Boromir did, but he paid the ultimate price, which was he died for it. So that's the price.
Bro, save it for the debates.
I mean, John's just geeking out. It's okay.
You don't understand.
This is hilarious hearing Marilyn talk about liking reality. That's fucking funny. Anyway,
she's pretty based, Grid.
Yeah, I know I'm based. So all right. Does the existence of Section 31, I almost forgot about Section 31, prove the Federation's ideals are hypocritical and therefore unattainable?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically a commentary on how, democracy is immoral, right?
Well, not so much that democracy is immoral. It goes to the idea of the fact that when you have people governing, and it's not because they're shareholders in that, because they don't own it or whatever, whatever you're going to say on that. It's actually because people who think they can micromanage certain things often, and to quote Princess Leia, the more systems you take through your hand, the more they'll lose. They'll go through your grip. So, the more you put that grip down, the more you're going to lose. So, no, it's because of their foolishness in thinking that they can be the United Nations of the entire space. That's their problem.
These are great debate topics, man, and nobody should get mad about any of them, right? So, anyway, we need 2 more judges, and then we could throw some debates together here. Kel, are you at all interested in debating any of these topics? You're not a sci. Are you a
Yeah.
sci-fi person?
I was gonna say I'm down to judge tonight because none of these topics are particularly tickling my fancy.
I think that's kind of interesting too, because if she doesn't know anything about any of this, it's kind of our job as debaters to convince her.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Luckily, Grid made.
I need one more judge.
Gandalf. Wait, great conclusion there, right?
It's like because you could be like, well, in the 15th chapter in the 4th season of Star Trek Deep Space Exploration, they said, and she'd be like clueless. You actually have to bring a good argument to relate.
Well, but
it's probably gonna go like last time, where you have to like pull up fucking pictures of the robot lady and shit for reference.
And at the same point,
references.
At the same point too, like it's good to have some knowledge too, because if you're debating who is a worse threat to Middle Earth, Sauron or Radagast, and they don't know a damn thing about Lord of the Rings, and they think that because you're like they're gonna make well, no. If someone makes an argument,
a smart person can talk to stupid people well.
Oh, okay.
They can simplify broad, huge concepts in cinematic.
To quote
Kel, you're
Obi-Wan, the ability to speak does not make one intelligent. Okay.
Yeah. So Kel, you're like super like level tonight. Whatever it is that you've done in the last week or two, like it's awesome. Keep it up. It's super awesome.
Going on sabbatical.
Yeah. You on emotional regulation. It's great.
He loves it. He loves it. The more unwoman you can be, the more he'll love it.
I need one more judge. If anybody would like to come up and be a debate judge that feels like they can do it and be fair and square, it would be great. And then, a couple more debaters wouldn't hurt either.
Chat, if you want to participate, come through.
Yeah, Arthur Daya, get up here and debate.
William, you're in my chat. You're saying, how do I get in one of these? Oh, I should post a link. Can I post it in my chat? He said he couldn't take the ring himself because it would have been corrupted by the ring. I would crush this argument. Let me in, coach.
I would crush this argument. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a fellow dweeb. It looks.
But other people know that too. That's kind of like rudimentary, right? So it's like saying, well, I'd crush them because I would say that the Shire's in the Westfold. It's like, duh. You know how to read a map. Congratulations.
Well, Anson knows a little bit about sci-fi, and Kel knows none. So now we just need one person.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's Star Wars, Star Trek, or Dune, then I'm fairly well versed. But everything else,
Agrillipus has a date tonight. It looks like. Not canceling this date. Leaving soon. Hope you have a good stream. Awesome, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Good luck on your date.
And good luck, man. I hope everything goes really well.
Speaking of dates, I have to go get my wife made apple cinnamon muffins.
Well, that's nice. You can bring enough for everybody.
That's a no.
What is sci-fi? Thumping Weevils, like what is that? Star Wars, Star Trek, The Wheel of Time,
comic books,
Superman,
Dark Crystal.
Yeah, The Labyrinth.
The Labyrinth.
Hi, Dancing on the Sun. Good to see you.
Pretty much
William,
all
you
of
wanna
David
join? That's
Bowie's
fine.
musical career.
Sorry, I left my fucking mic.
Oh man, that's amazing, Brenda. Oh, that's amazing.
It actually really looks. Your hair looks nice tonight, Kel.
Thank
What'd
you.
you do? Did you like wash it or something?
No, I fucking broke my straightener. I broke both my straighteners, but I got like a blowout when I was in Sacramento, so it's been nice.
Dark Crystal's a good movie. It came out that year. That's the greatest year for sci-fi movies, which is 1982. Changed my mind.
Great year. Yeah, The Never-Ending Story. That was a good one too.
Yeah.
I wasn't really happy.
It's a
with it.
horrible movie. Good story.
It made me feel things.
I left my mic and my fucking webcam. That's why I'm on my vintage one again. I'm like, tragic. The only two things I needed to bring home.
Wait, you left your what? You left your mic and your webcam in Sacramento?
Yeah. I'm like, wow. I was just, you know.
Are they
grabbing-
gonna? Is your dad gonna like mail it to you?
Yeah. But I was like, damn. Look, this is a headset that I'd smashed one night. I'm like, bruh. Thankfully,
Oh
it's
yeah,
still-
I
the
can believe
microphone
you
still
smashed it
works.
because
Is that the famous headset?
Still works though. GG. Because this one doesn't have a microphone on it at all. The blue one. I'm like, oh well, you know what? It's just I'm gonna sound like I'm streaming from an Xbox for a week or two. It's okay.
You sound just fine even when you don't push the mic towards your face. Yeah,
Okay.
in fact, the gain is a little too high when you push it towards your face, so it's better to not do that.
GG. Okay.
Just one more judge. That's all we need.
Come on, someone step up to the plate.
Yeah, we need a plate stepper. Thumping Weevil, get up here. You need to debate. You're a good debater, even though
Where's
you're a
K2?
woman.
Princess Bride is awesome. That's like one of my favorite movies. I can actually watch that movie like over and over.
Yeah, that's like my mom's favorite movie ever.
Treasure Planet.
Oh, that was cool. I remember that coming out. I was in elementary school when that came out.
You know when it was terrible was Jupiter Rising. It was a terrible movie.
Oh, I like that.
Never seen
Meg's good in every movie she's in.
That's just because you like her boobs.
Well, yeah.
It's not doesn't make it a good movie.
And it had that guy from Alabama.
I noticed you guys aren't even mentioning the greatest sci-fi movie of all time.
Dune.
Crazy Cammy.
No.
The first Dune movie.
No.
The second Dune movie.
Gremlins.
The Dune
No.
miniseries.
Gremlins?
No.
All right, I'm waiting.
Yeah, you guys haven't even hit the top 5 greatest sci-fi movies.
What's
The
the
greatest sci-fi movie of all
time?
time is Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Uh,
No,
it's
Ant-Man.
good. I give you that. It's really good.
It's a better movie than a sci-fi movie.
Yeah, it's a really good movie, and the themes that it touches on are well in advance. Like some of that stuff we're gonna have to start dealing with IRL in terms of like how we relate to the robots that we create, you know, and whether or
Now
not
you've got BIY going into this. Boobs can be very grounding in an earth-touching sort of way.
Now, let me
I
ask
heard
you
something on the radio today that made me
Anson.
think of Anson. And I was listening to this radio show. I listened to it.
Yeah, Wrath of Khan was great. Yeah, another one from '82. That's also in the top 5.
I was listening to the to this radio show, and the guy's talking about how this this one car that that he's restoring or whatever, and they're putting a bunch of money into, and it was originally going to go back all like perfect original, but they made a mistake, and now he's like doing all kinds of cool stuff, and he's like, yeah, it's just it's kind of like sneaky boobies, and I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? And his co-host was like, what are you talking about? He's like, sneaky boobies. When the girl takes her bra off and they're like bigger or whatever, better than you expected, and they were kind of hidden, and you're like, wow, bonus. That's sneaky boobies. And that made me think of Anson Knowles. I was like, that is literally something that Anson Knowles would say over and over and over again. So anyway, I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, that's definitely something I'm going to start saying.
And I had I'd never thought of it that way, but I've had that reaction.
Three of the top 5 sci-fi movies of all time came out in '82, and those would be this. Obviously, I think Blade Runner is the top one of them all, but there's Blade Runner, The Thing, and also Star Trek: Wrath of Khan, which is not only the greatest Star Trek movie, but it's probably one of the best sequel movies of all time as well.
Yeah, no, you got me there, bud. Yeah, that is the best Star Trek movie and one of the best sequel movies. But nothing beats Back to the Future Part 2.
Oh my gosh! I love Back to the Future, but no, it's not.
And
Back to the
better
Future
than
is
that,
legit. Like
Back
that's
to the Future
awesome
Part
movie.
3. It was the best trilogy ever. It It
Oh my
blew
gosh.
all other
Right,
trilogies out of the
right.
water. The third
What do
one
I
was better
take
than the
you
first two.
But you know what? The first
Ah.
one they're doing the 40th anniversary grid. So in October they're gonna come. It's gonna come out on IMAX. So we're gonna try to go see that.
They're
I think
like
that'd be
doing
awesome.
another movie that's like really, really old, and they're making a sequel, and it's like, why?
You know, they're remaking Highlander and making Henry Cavill the Highlander.
That's one I was thinking about. Yeah.
I don't know how I feel. I go back and forth on it. But you know
Well,
what?
Christopher
anything could be
Lambert was
better than
perfect.
Highlander. It's going to be better than Highlander 2 because that was a shit movie. I mean, talk about garbage. In every term of in every term you would determine a movie, Highlander: The Quickening was garbage.
Thumping Weevil is not on sci-fi movies. It's about concepts in sci-fi universes. Like, let me give you another example of a really good prompt. I got to go back here. Where'd I put it? Wait, I got some more. Hang on. No, that's not it. Where did I put my debate prompts? I have a folder for those. Uh-oh. What did I do? Anyway, you guys can keep talking.
I'm still recruiting. I think I asked Enemy Charlie. She seemed interested, but I haven't heard back from her yet. iCow just got home. Another dude, Game Boy, said he's interested. I had a bunch of people say yes, and they just haven't answered yesterday or today.
Yeah.
So.
Bring out
Everybody's
40K.
Everybody's your friend till the rent comes due. Did I mute everybody?
No.
Okay. Good.
I don't know. I don't know the right way if you wanted to try to extend it to something beyond just the category itself, but I think an interesting topic would be, especially with Trekkies, my fellow Trekkies, which is, did Kirk win or fail the Kobayashi Maru? I can't always say it.
Mm-hmm.
The Kobayashi Maru. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Unwinnable situation.
We cheated, yeah.
Who is the best Star Wars villain, and why is it General Grievous?
That's funny.
I mean, he had 4. How many lightsabers did he have?
6. Also a big
6,
fan of
that's
Darth
right.
Bane. He mana bombed and killed all the Sith except for his apprentice.
A legend.
Yeah. How about Darth Vader's embrace of raw power and dominance in Star Wars makes him a truer masculine ideal than Luke Skywalker's emotional redemption arc where he's a beta.
Wait,
You know what?
wasn't Anakin
That's
like
actually
space
not. That's not
Jesus?
bad.
Oh, this man, there's a couple of people I really wish was here because I had specific comments or topics to pick on people. So here's one for you. Was Captain Picard's reluctance to pursue romantic relationships a strength that preserved his leadership, or a flaw that left him emotionally isolated?
Oh,
You
it
know,
was a flaw.
he went into some relationships with some ladies during the series.
He
I
had
mean,
like
it's not like
one.
he was celibate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he wasn't a whore. You know.
Well, and he's exactly what every liberal wants a man to be, which is why I absolutely
Like
can't
borderline
stand the
gay?
character.
No,
Yeah.
no, he was
Yeah.
a stoic. He wasn't borderline gay. His command style was very emotionless, matter of fact. Nothing like
No,
Kirk was all
I'll
emotionless.
get you that he was stoic. I'll give you that, but it's
Kirk was just a stereotypical Chad that just spreads his seed everywhere and then departs.
and that's a problem because of why?
No, it's not a problem. It's just Picard was just a better human.
Oh, okay. I will say though that Kirk and Spock made a better teaming up because of their strengths and weaknesses together than Picard and Riker. Even though I like Riker a lot.
Yeah, Riker's supposed to be like the everyman, the guy that's like the normal guy you can relate with. He's the
He's
guy.
like, he's basically the Star Trek version of the bounty man. That's exactly what he is, and that's why he had like a beard through his. Like I'm a log, you know, yeah. But because with Spock, at least you had that, which is why that movie, what was that movie that J.J. Abrams won when he at the end Spock's like, "Go with it" or whatever. I'm like, yeah. You're a bastard, JJ. Way to kill one of the greatest characters in Star Trek.
How about this? Baron Harkonnen's ruthless ambition in Dune is a more honest portrayal of what power dynamics are actually like than the hypocritical moralizing of House Atreides.
How about instead of that, because that sucks, was Legolas and Gimli's friendship the strongest bond in the Fellowship, given their ability to overcome racial tension?
No, not even close. Not
Sam
even
and
close.
Bilbo were gay.
Sam and Bilbo?
Or Frodo, I'm sorry. Sam and Frodo were gay.
Totally.
Well, they were gay. Oh, okay. All right. So here we go. All right. I got you, bro. I got you.
Gay. They're not
With
gay.
Samwise Gamgee's unwavering to Frodo, an admirable trait or an unhealthy obsession that neglected his own well-being?
It was an admirable trait.
I'd go with the other one because, you know, he put himself in harm's way. He saw what the ring was doing to Frodo and he wanted to slap that bitch on himself, take the burden and shit, you know? Like, it was loyalty to a fault. Like, the Gollum was literally leading him where they needed to go, and at every turn, he was undermining Gollum. Even
so you don't
Gollum
like
exposed
Samwise,
himself.
I take it that
He's a cuck.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
Oh wow! All right.
Oh
now
my
we're getting
gosh.
spicy.
Oh
All
my
right.
gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh my!
Yeah.
I don't even know how to dignify.
Welcome, iCal. How are you? You got to select the right mic, I think. There's some of these that I wrote down, and now I look at them, they're like super obvious. Like, did Deanna Troi and Will Riker's on again, off again relationship compromise their professional duties aboard the Enterprise?
Yes.
No.
Obviously.
No, they were really good about it.
We still can't hear you, iCow.
F you, Anson.
If you're not on the
if
Chrome,
he's
you might wanna
using
switch
any
over.
browser but Chrome.
I like your green screen background of a dirty garage.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Cleaned it and then, you know, went camping.
No, I got a bumfucks background because I'm moving shortly, and we're gonna be setting up a whole new badass thing.
You're
behind
moving?
me. Yeah, not far, just a couple blocks away.
Oh, okay. You're not. So you're.
It's a great adventure, though. It will be a great adventure.
I forget where you're at, so I don't remember where you told me, but I don't remember.
I don't mind. I don't give a shit. I'm in an open carry state. Come at me. I'm in Augusta. I'm in Augusta. What's good?
Oh, you're in Georgia?
Yeah.
Dang, son.
Yeah, we're close. That's what I'm saying. We're 5 miles away from.
Well, no
Memphis.
wonder.
For 5 hours.
Bad takes. He's from Georgia.
No, I'm from New York.
Oh, that's even dumber.
Now he knows what. So he was a New York liberal, and he moved to Georgia, and he figured out what liberty is, and was like, hell yeah.
Yeah, but he's still a liberal. He's still a liberal. You can take the
liberal
liberal out of the
adjacent.
liberal city, but you can't take the liberal out of the liberal until they've completely come to terms.
It's true.
with reality.
Regulation is what prevents us from living in a libertarian hellscape.
Yeah, iCal, man, you really gotta. If you're not using Chrome, it's not gonna work. Are you using Chrome? Yeah.
He may have to go out and come back in if he didn't select his mic right.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. There's a little caret. This is by the mute button on the bottom. If you're on desktop, you can click on that and change which mic is selected. And it may be that when you opened up the browser, if you just got Chrome for this, that you didn't allow the system to be able to select your mic, and then you'll have to basically clear your cache and then get back in and try again.
Okay, I've got it now. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, yeah, that's
All
what it was.
right.
All right, now why am I zoomed in like ridiculous, like close up?
I don't know.
What's that?
For your camera, the little arrow to the right of it, change your resolution to 720 and it'll back you out.
Okay.
I want to move to make a petition.
That's
Petition is because we're kind of short on people tonight. We make it the trial by Kel, and everyone else debates, and we have to convince her, the non-nerd, normal person that probably has a
We have a
normal friendship.
singular judge.
Yeah, and it has to be someone that has no idea what the fuck we're talking about.
How progressive of you guys. Oh my gosh, it's a matriarchy.
Well, we haven't said yes yet.
Yeah, this is just a motion.
This is a motion by the singular liberal guy.
Anson's green screen.
Iko and I are fairly close on political ideology. He's just is not as big of a fan of Trump as I am.
Apparently, he's got some street cred. Says Iko Rich looks like a member of ZZ Top. That's rad. I would take that.
That's right. Yep.
I would take that. All right. So
one of my old epithets up there, breaker of horses. It's been a while since I've used that one.
Yeah.
But since the Odyssey is, coming next year.
I'm not completely clueless. Like, my dad made me watch all the original Star Wars movies. I haven't seen them in a while, but we did talk extensively about them when I visited this past week. And I also watched like Star Trek growing up. It's just been a while. Like, you might have to like refresh my memory, but like I'm not
super up on Star Wars. Like, I usually just like listen to other people when it comes to that. Star Trek I can tell you a lot about, but
I have seen the original of both though.
I'm kind of basic on Star Wars.
Just been
I was there for the original ones. That's about it.
GG, same.
Well, we may have our third judge. Cleaner has replied.
I still remember when the unpopular thing about Star Wars was C-3PO and R2-D2. People didn't like him.
Jar Jar Binks.
That was the original Jar Jar Binks was the droid.
Cleaner has arrived. How's it going? Cleaner?
Just getting everything turned on.
I may have to
gotcha.
Jack. Hold on a second. There's a disaster in the house.
Cleaner is just getting over the hangover from his celebration after ending some guy's political career last night.
What was funny is I destroyed that guy in an impromptu deal, and then he came back, and it sounded like he was arguing like the same points the night before. I'm like, dude, we already know how to beat your argument. Stop it.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is, I thought Cleaner was taking some bait when they brought up religion. He started arguing, why are you bringing up the religion? I thought he was taking some bait. And then that argument came full circle. And it's like, you're saying this guy was a bad person just because it's religion. And that's the type of demonization we're talking about. And I was like, damn, okay. It took a minute, but you brought it around full circle and kind of exposed them in real time.
Yeah, I saw how what was that other guy's name? I don't know, the one that would spurg out constantly. I saw how he was kind of using sidesteps, and so I let him go down one of the trains with his sidestepping one of those times about something he said about Jake's podcast, right? Like, he called it a small podcast. So I used that derailment to get him to directly answer Gibbs' question. And I don't normally do that. Normally I try to make one of my own points, but I thought Gibbs' question there was really important to be answered, because he wouldn't admit that this was demonstrous behavior from left and right both. Like, he wouldn't say, yeah, the left guys that are doing this radical shit, this is bad behavior. They shouldn't do that. And so I got him to say it in a very generalized way to thus reinforce how his side does do generalized shit just like we do, which I brought up again later. It was one of those things where you go like one tier at a time. You just keep adding to the layer cake until you get to the top, and you put the favorite buttercream or super frost or whatever it is kind of icing you like on it, and you're like, there's my perfect cake. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, that guy, he that was weird that he was on the night before and I beat him up really badly, and then he came back. That was weird. So,
Joey wasn't even too bad.
Yeah, that was the guy that came in and was like trying to roll me over the coals over the magistrate versus circuit judge and everything. I was like, hey, the article says judge, man. I don't know what you want. I work with those guys all the time. I'm like, yeah, none of that matters. I don't care. So, anyway. Well, we now have 3 judges. We have how many we only have 3 contestants. That's pretty cool.
It's 4 contestants, Greg.
4? Yes, 4. That's sweet. And then maybe more will pull in.
Wait, which one am I?
You can be a
know.
contestant.
I just was told to come in.
You'll be a contestant. We'll let you beat up on people. It's fun.
I've been judging tournaments all weekend, so.
Oh, good. All right. Cool. All right. So
semifinals, we closed it out.
Cool. That's awesome. All right. Well, who would like to go first?
Hold on.
I can, but I'm still putting out DMs trying to get people that are free. So if you don't put me first, I'm still searching.
How about Rubber Ducky and Mosman?
Let's do it.
You gonna do that? All right. I'm gonna leave. Well, should I leave? No. Last time I didn't work out so good.
There's something I've been wanting to debate if I can find the right person to debate with, but
yeah, well, you want to debate?
But Resolved Superman is a flop. I've been wanting to do that one for a while.
Okay, repeat that. You were kind of far away from your mic.
I'm sorry. Resolved Superman is a flop. That's been like all over my Twitter feed lately, like for the last month. Is
Resolved that Superman is a fraud.
Is a flop.
Like he's talking about
the new movie.
People arguing whether or not it's profitable or whether or not it's like a big money.
I have no idea if it's profitable.
Yeah, and that debate will only work if there's like a Snyder bro in the audience. But if there isn't, then it's not going to work.
Yeah, I'm a Snyder bro. Unfortunately, I wish I was.
I'm a semi-Snyder bro, but
I'm a Snyder bro. If you put your guns
it's
to my
one
head
thing to
and
be
make
a Snyder
me
bro
choose.
in the sense of you like his movies. I mean, that's fine. But I'm just talking about the people who seem to think that these movies, like, they get woke, go broke kind of crowd where every movie that they don't like for whatever reason has to be a money loser, and they can make $1 billion and they'll be like, nope, that's not enough. It's a flop, kind of stuff.
It's a very interesting thing because I went and saw it in a local theater, and I think it was opening weekend, and it wasn't full at all.
Right.
Which is not, I don't know if that's unusual anymore because of the amount of entertainment that we have available to us.
Yeah. It's not unusual. And also, like, there were a lot of people who, this is really dumb, but there were a lot of people who, in support of Snyder, were booking tickets and then canceling them right as the movie was starting.
Yeah, that's kind of sophomore.
In order to create empty seats, yeah.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong. Like, I don't think Superman. I mean, it wasn't like $1 billion blockbuster. It made $615 million. I think that's enough for it to be profitable. I think it's successful, but I wouldn't say it was.
I don't think. I mean, it was a good. It had a lot of potential to be a great movie. It was a good movie. I saw it with my kids. My kids liked it.
Yeah, it was Guardians of the Galaxy too much for me. And the other thing that pissed me off about it was that the kids from Kansas sounded more like they were from Alabama or Arkansas than they did from Kansas.
Yeah. Hey there, no, that's fair. That's an accurate statement. I guess what bugged me about it is it was more like a made-for-TV movie than a movie. If you understand
didn't have
my
that cinematic. Yeah, Man of Steel was more cinematic. And
I really like Peacemaker season 2, though. I'm enjoying the shit out of that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
See, the problem with Superman, from my perspective, is that Henry Cavill was probably the best.
Superman. Oh yeah, that dude was Superman.
Yeah, and so
Cavill was great.
Yeah, coming in behind him and trying to backfill, like, this repetitive need for Hollywood to just remake the same trash over and over again. Like they found somebody who was made for that role, and then they're just gonna try and backfill some garbage in. But it's like that Garfield Spider-Man coming in after Tobey Maguire. I just felt sorry for him.
But I will say that the Lex in this movie was better than Man of Steel's Lex. Like way better.
Very low bar though.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I don't know that it's a flop. I don't know that Superman is a flop, but I would not say that it's cinematically and from to be a major production movie. I don't know that I could say it's a success.
Yeah, if someone wants to argue that they don't like the film, I can't argue with that, right? Because that's just a matter of taste.
Yeah,
I'm just talking about the objective, like.
But I don't know how you could objectively do it because right now they're saying that the way everything's shifted to where people are downloading and that sort of thing. We may not know whether it's a flop or not until it hits the
that's right. Like everyone thought, and it probably was a flop in theaters. Thunderbolts, right, was made very little money, but then it made $200 million in
which one?
Thunderbolts. It was a Marvel movie.
Yeah, Avengers, the new Avengers.
It was actually really good, but nobody.
I've never even heard of it.
It's the premiere of the century.
Nobody went to go see it, so it was a flop in the theaters. But then it made $200 million in digital downloads.
But see, this is where I think people don't realize. So there's a lot of people on YouTube who will go, who I'm sorry to say, even though I think they're smart and they have some very good taste on some things.
Yeah,
they kind of drum this line of "go woke or get broke," and they'll say that the whole reasoning for a lot of these things is because of wokeness. Now, it's true that wokeness has not helped Hollywood, right? It's nearly killed a lot of different aspects in Hollywood. However,
I would say lazy wokeness is the problem, right?
The lazy wokeness, that are great.
Yes.
God, there's not a lot of terminology that I would say that I just absolutely hate nowadays.
I know.
The term woke. And you got to understand from where I'm coming from my generation, we coined the term wake the fuck up or be awakened or be awoke. My generation coined that term on the whole preface that it's the system that is fucking controlling your lives. And guess what? Now they're trying to change that term into something else too. And that really actually kind of pisses me off because more than 80% of the people that I know aren't even alive anymore because they kept spreading that.
To Cleaner's point, what was that movie where the guy had the glasses where you could see everything for what it truly was?
Yeah.
They're among us.
They
are among us. Yeah.
They live.
And
Roddy Piper, baby.
Yep.
They live.
Yep.
Yeah.
I should get in trouble for showing.
They live. Yeah, it's they live. That's what it is.
But I hate that term so much, man. I
understand, Cleaner, but let's be honest. Like woke was around, but even before Gen X, right?
Lazy woke is a better way to put it because, like, if
in the 20s by Black Americans.
Squid Game season 2 had that one character that was the military vet that transitioned, and that was a great, well-written character that did a good job throughout the show. I had no complaints, and I was like, "Oh, they include trans character in the show."
Well, look at movies like Rogue One. Look at TV shows like The Expanse, right? Like, I'll even tell you this: I watched the new Jurassic Park movie, and it had a predominantly female character, and so, but it was good. It was entertaining, and why? And I think part of it is the Mary Sue BS, and it's this kind of pro third wave feminism, like girls can't ever be seen weak because that's part of the patriarchy lie or whatever. And it's like, no, you can't create good characters if they don't ever have weaknesses. That's why.
Actually, one of the scenes that I show in my class to sort of explain like modes of feminism is a great scene from True Detective where a woman is talking about not how she's equal to a man physically, but she's talking about how I carry around a knife because I know that every man can take me down, like, without even trying hard. And, and the reason I carry these knives is because they're not going to do that to me. Like it's a really great scene. It's from season 2. It's one of the few good things from season 2. But it's an amazing scene. Yeah,
that's such a cute thing to hear some lady say. I have a knife, so you're not gonna do anything to me.
It's like,
she
sweetheart, does use that,
if only
use
you
that
knew.
knife quite effectively. Like,
if only you knew.
Right. Well, and that's why I think it's important that we remember these
She
things.
gets trained in using that knife.
There are good examples of diverse casts and
Weapons are
characters
equalizers
without being
right?
lazy.
This is why women carry guns too.
Not all.
I think
not
guns
not
are equalizers.
not.
That's what the saying is, right?
Yeah, not all weapons are equalizers. I mean, even when you're talking about something as explosive as gun, like a man versus a woman. I mean, all things being equal, besides they're just a man and a woman. They go up against each other with a gun. A man has a better chance of coming out of it alive than the woman does. It's
yeah,
just,
but most scenarios,
it's not really an equalizer. It's
well, you
not
get to
really.
listen to the whole speech because in most scenarios, it's a man like coming on too hard to a woman. Like he's not necessarily using any weapons to.
I don't even think that's most nowadays. I don't. I would say nowadays, most situations are a woman took something the wrong way and escalated things way out of the box of reality.
What's up?
be.
Well, I think that's where the scenario comes from, right? Like you can't have it go both ways.
Where are you going?
If a woman wants to say that there's no disadvantage between her and a man when it comes to
Ooh,
training,
how fun.
then
Yeah,
okay.
60
But if you're willing to say, if you're willing to acknowledge
gosh.
reality,
I finally put mine back in.
which is that every woman is at a disadvantage to every man,
Really decent.
unless
I'm waiting
there
for us
are
to get these
weapons.
started.
Even
Guys,
with
Okay,
weapons.
let's get this first debate started. We this is a good chat, but let's go ahead. I'm going to put everybody in the back.
Good luck.
Judges, pay attention. And competitors pay attention too. And so it's
that was rubber.
Yeah, it's
Rubber Ducky
Mosman and
versus
Rubber Ducky.
Yeah.
Where's Anson at? Where are you hiding at? There you are. Nope, that's the wrong one. Wrong one.
Yeah, I don't have my keys.
All right. So we're gonna have a good. We're gonna have a nice. We're gonna have a good time here. So let's look. So Mosman, obviously, you want to do probably a Lord Anello TR.
Yeah, that's my go-to thing. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
we're in Lord of the Ring. Yeah, that's my number one.
How are
fan.
you over there, Rubber Ducky? Where are you
I'm
at?
pretty good with Lord of the Rings. I've read The Hobbit
Okay.
and I've read most of them.
Okay.
So
Do you guys want to try and come up with a prompt yourself, or do you want me to propose one?
Just real quick. So with these, it's like what, a minute to introduce your thoughts.
Yep,
and
it's a
then-
minute each,
Right.
Opening statement, and then 5-minute
Okay.
open dialogue. And when
Okay.
the 5 minutes is up, the judge is judged.
Okay, gotcha. Okay,
All right.
that's fine. Yeah.
So
I'll let you or him to choose because sometimes all the things that I think are interesting are
good, dude.
are going to be commonly held.
all right. Well, let's. How about? I kind of like this because this is kind of a modern day. When I wrote this topic, I was thinking about how we are. A lot of people consider us abandoning the various groups in the world, like Israel, like Ukraine, and obviously people think the U.S. is being very selfish about that. So the prompt was: were the elves selfish for abandoning Middle Earth instead of staying to fight Sauron against the men and dwarves? Now, obviously, they did eventually come in, but you understand what I'm saying. And so I think that's, that can be debated from a variety of different points of view. So I can't, I think that'd be a good one. Do you guys want to do that?
Yeah, sure. What side do you want? Do you want the side of the
I'll
elves
let
are
you.
selfish, or
I'll let you pick which one you're the most comfortable with, and I'll get you to pick which one you want.
let me think. What's the
I can
strongest
debate.
one?
I can debate it either way. I have what I believe, but I can debate it either way.
Let's go with the elves were not selfish.
That they
So you
were
want-
not selfish for abandoning. Okay.
So you want to say they're not, and I'll say that they are, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So Mosman will
Okay.
go first. He'll be the affirmative.
Okay.
And he will explain why they were selfish for abandoning everyone. And just let me. All you need to do is once you're ready, just start talking, and I'll start the clock.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So, Murray, I think the strongest. Or sorry, do you start?
Well,
or should I?
he's
I gotta go.
Mosman's first.
All right.
Yeah. All right. So, so the reason why the elves are selfish, it comes down to three reasons. One, they knew the problem of Sauron was happening for a long time, and they either did nothing about it or they kicked the can. And then when it becomes pretty obvious that the situation is beyond anything that can happen, they're not even sure that the humans can actually take care of it. They leave because they don't want to see the destruction. That makes them selfish. They didn't do anything to solve the problem, and they don't want to see the natural consequence of that. The second reason why they're selfish is because they have knowledge, information, and technology that could benefit the other races that would help them in the fight. And eventually they do it, but it's only because of the love of Aragorn's to-be wife. And third, the reason why they're selfish as well is because they tend to lord themselves over other people and always think they're better. And now that's it.
And that was perfect timing. So just start talking when you're ready.
Alrighty. Well, I think that the strongest and most defensible side was that the elves were not selfish, and there's a few reasons why. The lore-backed inevitability, because Tolkien consistently emphasized that the elves are always destined to leave Middle-earth, and their departure wasn't about selfishness. It was about Valar, I can't remember his name. And then you have the moral perspective of selfishness, the second reason, which selfishness implies choosing comfort over duty in a morally wrong way. The elves weren't seeking comfort. They were following their inherent nature and the will of Valar. So in the framework, it's fulfilling destiny. It's not shirking responsibility. And on top of that, there was contributions without direct fighting. The elves still helped indirectly, mentioning heroes and safeguarding knowledge and things like that, preserving artifacts.
Is that it? All right.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So now I'm going to give you guys a 5-minute clock. You guys can just start talking, and I'll start the clock. I can't hear you, John.
Yeah, I just realized I was on a different screen. So you mentioned Valar's plan and that they were destined, right, to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why did they have that destiny? Beyond that they were destined, is there a reason that you know of from the lore of why they were destined?
From what I could understand is that he was like a steward or a caretaker, and they kind of guide the world according to Eru's plan, and they have a connection to the elves learning. So the elves learning.
So do you know who the great big baddie of the Lord of the Rings Middle Earth? I mean, beyond Lord of the Rings, I mean all of Middle Earth.
Tell me. I'm just
Tolkien actually himself saw it was Satan, Morgoth, right? Sure. And the elves, and the whole plan of the elves to be put there was that they were to safeguard, meaning they were going to be there to stop that progress of evil, right? That was the whole reason why they were allowed to stay longer, is because it was a safeguard for them to prevent as much of Morgoth's destructive abilities. However, the elves were blind to the fact that Morgoth was also working through people like Sauron to allow the destruction and the complete eruption of Middle Earth and of power. And the elves knew this for a long time, and they still didn't do something. So by their mandate, they were given a mandate, and they didn't fulfill it. And so, yes, they had a timetable, but they begrudgingly helped. And I would say they probably, when they left, did so because they realized there was nothing left for them to do, or they choose not to do something. And either way, I think you could say that is actually a form of selfishness. What do you say to that?
I think it doesn't really play the larger part of the actual bigger picture, that the elves weren't there to lead the age of the elves, like you're saying. They were there to leave Middle Earth to have the age of the humans, age of men, the beginning. And staying to fight wouldn't have changed the natural course. It would have been like resisting fate. Their departure aligns with divine order, and that's not selfish at all.
Okay, so they're just doing what they're predestined to do, and that gives them a safeguard from whether or not it's the moral thing to do, right? Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is that even if they weren't there somehow, some way, I still think it would have been not their battle, not their war. It wouldn't have been some army of secret last minute elves.
But that's not the question, is it? Is that the question though? Is that the question? Because the question is, were they selfish for leaving? Whether there was fate, or whether they felt like they fulfilled something.
That's what the question was. You kind of goal shifted to the elves are needed a lot more, and it is selfish for them not acting up and coming out and doing more. So from what I understand, what your question isn't a question. It's a, hey, they should have done a lot more because they had the power, because of this, because of that.
No, I made that as a point, as the reason why I would say they're selfish. But the question of why they're selfish, because you're saying, well, they were never destined to be that way. And okay, maybe in one sense, if you were to take it from your point of view, you could see why I could see why you may want to make that point. But the problem with that is that it doesn't actually negate the fact that it doesn't cease them being selfish. And the reality is, the reason why I brought up that they could have more agency and power is because they did, and they chose to do it. And the fact that they didn't do more is one or two reasons, right?
Well,
it's
it
either
wasn't
because
predestined, right? It was just part of Eru's plan for the ages. The age of the elves is ending, and the age of men is beginning. That's why they didn't want to sit there and take all the rewards, reap the benefits. And Aragon was coming through.
But they're going to let man completely take all of the destruction and all of the.
I mean, they had been for most of history.
Okay. But see, here's the thing: is that the elves show throughout many times where they failed to actually follow the plan and actually do what they're fated to do and what they're destined to do. And the reason why I brought up that they could do more things isn't because whether they were fated to do or not, but because they were ultimately given a choice and some type of agency to do some of those things. And the mere fact that Elrond reforges the sword and he allows for these things to happen is evidence of that. And that tells me the only reason why he did it was not because, well, my people are leaving, I'm going, blah, blah, blah. It's because he realizes the only shot his daughter has is to let Aragorn kill Sauron. So he had a selfish reason in helping.
I mean, you can also look at it from the other perspective. You know, there's always two ways of a road.
All right.
Good job, Rubber Ducky. Good job, Rubber Ducky.
Yeah,
good job.
Good job.
That's 5 minutes.
Thanks,
That was interesting. All right, Kel, you go first.
Okay. Right, fast enough. Okay. So let me see what's your Tolkien nerd. Tolkien nerd, you said that they were selfish because in your opening statement they didn't take preventative measures about, I don't know, some crisis despite knowing an issue existed. For a while, however, there's always a cost to something. It sounds to me like potentially there are people like evacuated in self-preservation, which is exactly what, Grid is hoping we would move to right here in the US via isolationism. You also wrapped up your opening statement with they do things for themselves rather than other people. That's what makes them selfish, which is kind of, just reiterates the same point. I was hoping you were going to end on a stronger note there because you did have a good start there. Obviously. So yeah, a little bit of a pointless reiteration. I think Duck kind of came in and provided a more practical definition by saying that they chose comfort over duty. And yes, unfortunately, I feel like you didn't really illustrate, Tolkien nerd, any form of selfishness that is uncontestable. In fact, you were the one that proposed the question to Ducky. Wouldn't you agree that this is a form of selfishness? So to me, if it's arguable, then we can't concede to the idea that it's their people's intrinsic nature to be selfish. So I'd have to give it to Ducky on that one.
Fair enough.
All right. Let's get the next nerd in. Anson.
Yeah, let me see. There's one.
Mike's on your head, Anson.
Oh. Yeah, let's see. 1, 2, 2, 2. That's 7. So I've got 9 for Never Lucky and 8 for Mosman, and I came to that minor difference based on what I saw from the chat as like my distinguishing characteristic, because that debate, I mean, there was some technical knowledge there, but none of y'all were wowing me with any kind of savagery in terms of your style, the force of your argument. There was no bloodlust, or really, like, I didn't feel like either one of you really wanted to decimate the other one, like you really cared. Like, I don't think either one of you really care about Tolkien from what I saw. I don't blame you. Who would, right? So it's Never Lucky. I gave it to you just because the chat seemed to think that you were a little bit better. So,
and finally, cleaning up.
Yeah, I think Anson started talking about it right there real well. The command of the argument. That was very hard to discern who had command of the argument. And I don't think anyone did in this. I think this was a straightforward question, answer, question, retort, answer, type environment. This didn't come off as either one of them leading the other to a point or making direct attacks in an attempt to destroy the other one. So it was very hard to judge based off of command. Based off of the rhetoric back and forth, Mosman had a little bit more that he was bringing in, but I think that was because Ducky didn't get to finish his last point there. They were pretty close on opening statements, although Mosman's did speak to something that was hard to prove, but he was in the business of making the proof, and so I understand why he took that side. So I mean, when it came down to it, before we came back here to the panel, like just before we came back to the panel, got to see the setup. All right, and so the setup behind each of these two guys, their background that they've chosen, is what it came down to for me because they were so close. And Rubber Ducky has a badass looking car behind him, so I had to give it to him there.
Fair enough.
And sometimes it's just that biased. Mosman, hang out. We may do double elimination. It's already 10 o'clock. I try and end at like 11:30.
If you will, I'll go ahead and take off because usually I'm not the type of person that gets brought back on these things.
Oh no, I mean it won't be. I will just do a double elimination.
I just to be fair,
okay.
You can't really make the statement that I did because from a lore and factual perspective, Ducky was correct. So they weren't selfish at all. So
no, that's why I was giving you credit for that, because you did take the stance to affirm they were selfish. This was so I thought it was a great setup, and I gave you kudos for that because that is a harder stance. However, I think you started structuring it that way in a good way. In a little bit longer debate, you might have actually been able to pull this one off and prove it. But
right. Yeah, and I'm not gonna be as good in the short form as I would in the long form, and we know that why cleaner, because that's probably not my strong suit,
It's not your.
But it's fun though, right?
Oh yeah.
To be honest, I thought you won. I thought you were commanding it quite.
I actually did too. To be honest with you,
you were way in over my head because I don't know half the stuff you're talking about.
John was commenting John was verbal like way more than Ducky. Ducky didn't say as much. He didn't interject, which may have helped him in the eyes of the judges. I
thought there was a concession at the very beginning that Tolkien Nerd could have taken advantage of, but probably didn't. It's like really early. Ducky says that the elves were caretakers, right? To try to give like things to man. Well, if they leave at that point, man's not they're gonna fail their duty as caretakers if they leave. And I'd like to have seen him jump all over that.
That's a good.
Very beginning.
I was really surprised. Oh, there goes Tyler's camera. I was actually really surprised, Ducky, that you didn't as a show of how the how the elves just basically abandoned everybody was that they wouldn't give they had the ability to make magical weapons, and they had before given men magical weapons, and they were not helping the men, even though they were to some degree counting on the race of man to keep the orcs at bay, because the orcs were starting to actually kill the elves in the forest, and they needed the men to do that. But they weren't going to give them the weaponry. They weren't giving them the clokes. They weren't giving them any of. I forget which one of you said about.
We have lore about that. There was the Rangers, right?
Right, but they weren't. But they could have armed a lot more people. They refused to. Right, they were literally like, and as a matter of fact,
the guy that went and made all that armor basically went missing.
Yeah, but no, it wasn't. I mean, they still had the ability because they had the bows and the weapons and the cloaks and all of that. But it was who am I trying to think of, John? The elf that, or they had an elf die like because of the orcs, like right in the beginning, and or not right in the beginning, but as Thorin's party like gets into Elvendar, right? The orcs are chasing the Bilbo and everybody, and the river like flood. Is that man? I may be messing up my book.
Yeah, you are, because I mean, there's not any elves that I know of that really die in the Hobbit. Obviously Thorin or Oakenshield does, but
right. What am I trying to think of? There's
Well, you might be thinking of the guy that's from the Bard Town or whatever it's called, or that's yeah. But the point, what you're talking about too, though, is that the weapons that they found in the Misty Mountains, which were pillaged by orcs, and they were in that cave. So, and Rubber Ducky's right. There was an elf who did make some of the stuff, and they stopped making them. There's also another reason why they didn't make some of the stuff that they did, because do you know who was like the best blacksmith for the elves? Was Sauron.
Yep. And he turned against them. But I mean, just the thing is, though, the elves' weapons were already better than normal weapons, and them snubbing their noses and being arrogant, I think, was what kind of that kind of insulated them from a lot of the fighting in the beginning of it. And granted, later they did the right thing, but
but it was always a weird dichotomy to me that the elves depended upon the race of man to keep the orcs away from the forest to some degree, so that they didn't have to send out their. I mean, they obviously were sending out the raiding.
Oh, parties. We got a Gondorian here. See, no one cares now.
See, nobody cares.
I don't think enough people really nerd out on this one to get into a lot of the more deep-rooted jokes there, John.
Yeah.
Like I probably read the full 5-book thick-ass thing 5 or 6 times at least, just because.
I read it at least 3, but it was all like it was like pre-2000, so.
I've always appreciated the detail that Tolkien, also Conan Doyle did this a lot. The detail that goes into the littlest of things, right? I mean, just the amount of detail the man could paint a picture in, and you could really see it and visualize things happening that way. And when he did that, he created the environment around it so that moving forward, you could see it play out in your head while you're reading it, And I thought that was just a masterful way to write something. It's a brainwashing technique that writers haven't used in a very long time, and I really, really liked it.
Cool. All right. So we might have one more contestant coming in, so that would be good too. Let's. Who's the next bout? Who's the next guy? Tyler's
ready.
Tyler's raising his hand. Well, what about Tyler and iCal?
Sure. What are we doing?
I like, was the destruction of Alderaan by the Death Star a justifiable act of war to maintain the Imperial?
I did send you part of the list. I did. Yeah, okay. I'll go with it.
Okay. I assume you're taking the affirmative on that one.
Pick your side. I'll take whatever. I can't argue either.
Well, I mean, I cannot argue. I can only argue the one. So, but yeah, sure. Let's do it. I'm not much of a Star Wars guy, so I don't know that I know as much deep lore as you.
I don't think you need to go into. I think the
it's
lore
not required
loses.
for this. Yeah, the movies take care of this enough.
Yeah. All right. Let me throw people in the back. Let's get you back there, but not you. Kel, we'll see you soon. Maybe. Not you, Gandalf. Never Lucky. Took a win. First time out. Took a win. All right. And then Anson, you got to go. Okay, there we go. All right. Then we'll do this. All right. Now I know you two guys, have fun over on Primes, but here I want a nice clean fight. I want any blood. I don't want any, fallacies.
See, I'm opposite of that other guy that was just talking about. To me, like a win comes not from the blood sports stuff. So I'm not sure that I fit in with what the judges are looking for in this.
Well, this is just a short format deal, so it's making the
sure.
most points, and the Anson has a weird system to gauge. He gauges like audience engagement if people are kind of rooting for your side, and he's got a pretty good system down. So, but all the judges judge differently, so it's neat. So. All right, who has the affirmative? All right, and so you'll go first. You get 1 minute for your opening statement, and you just start talking, and I'll start the clock.
All right.
But I got to go get paper.
All right. So this was a justified act of war, aside from all the imagery that went into making the movie that was put there for spectacle for the theater, going into imagining being yourself, being in this universe. This is the government. Whether you like it or not, this government is in place, and they have an open rebellion being funded by and backed by this planet. Imagine this as a city or a nation in this time. Would it be a justified act of war to attack that nation and go ham on it if they were rebelling or attacking the government in place? This is basically what the United States did to Japan in World War II. So I would say that the parallel here is, like when you F around, you find out what happens when you mess with a bigger force. Not saying the rebels weren't justified, but to go against the status quo, that is the risk of rebellion, is your entire group of people that are rebelling get blown up. So
that was exactly a minute opening. All right, iCal, just start talking when you're ready, and I will let you do your opening.
Yeah, just stop me when I'll probably hit that minute and keep talking if you don't shut me up. So
I'll let you know.
Okay, yeah. So I want to start with the end. Like when you're not saying the rebels were justified. So it sounds like what you're saying, what you're trying to argue, is that there isn't a good side or a bad side, that both sides are sort of equal. I think it's interesting that you used Japan as an example, because these were two targets that were specifically military targets that were picked out because they were considered to be distant from civilian areas. And now they underestimated the total impact that would have on civilian areas that were close to it. But it was, the equivalent, I think, would be bombing Tokyo or something like that, which I don't think was in the cards. They got the surrender that they needed as a result, and then immediately turned around and gave Japan one of the best economies in the world, westernized them, put them into the first world. That's something that, had the Empire done for Alderaan, I would be a lot more, sympathetic. But since, Alderaan is gone, wiped out from the map, they really don't have the opportunity that Japan had. I don't think that was a very good.
Okay, that's your minute. I'm sorry.
Okay. That's good. Nope.
You did. I meant to give you a 20-second warning, but
right.
I got a message in, and I blew right by it.
Yep.
All right, so we got 5 minutes on the clock. You two guys have made your openings, and just one of you start talking, and I'll start the clock.
Well, the Japan example was more just an argument of you can unleash the sun on a nation when they are your enemy. And in this, Alderaan was feigning as that they were this pacifist planet that was just going to sit back and let the two sides battle it out, when in reality their government actors, government officials, and their planet themselves were funding an open rebellion against the state. I think action against them for that was justified.
Sure, I think that's why. Like, okay, I'm Catholic and you're not, so it's gonna be a big problem. But I like just war theory when it comes to this sort of thing. If you have like a means of winning a war without creating such destruction, then you can be justified. But you can't be justified if the only way to win is genocide. It just doesn't work. So I think one of the reasons why I'm so attached to the example that you gave was because we dropped pamphlets days in advance. We picked like targets that were distant from Japan, and ultimately we were able to sort of turn them around. I just don't think that there's a real world. Like, if we're going to see this as a metaphor for like real actions in the real world, I just don't think I see one where justification is given to the one who just like creates destruction, like without looking for some off ramp.
Well, it's not a justification so much, but I mean, I can give you some real world examples. Like,
well, I mean, justified is in the resolution.
Yeah, but I mean, justification as the comparison to the real world. I was more giving examples why it's justified to attack. But at the end of the day, we can see some real world comparisons to this. If you have the means to take out an enemy without losing any U.S. troops, then you would use a drone for it instead. And that's what the American military has moved toward, because we don't want to see boots on the ground. Well, those Empire, maybe the stormtroopers aren't clones anymore. I get that they kidnap some people, but not all of them are that. And then every officer, every technician on board, all these people's lives are now at risk if they go to this planet and infiltrate against these rebels that could potentially do harm to them. Taking this planet that's the government of the planet is an open rebellion.
Well, this is a planet that wants to take in like people from the other side, rather convert them than kill them at every opportunity. But also, like, I think you understand that even the clones, like, they don't have their full consent. Like, they were being modified in order to like obey orders that they didn't fully understand. I think in war, if you're gonna say that it's okay to like attack a planet where it's all like civilians, then certainly you have even more justification if what you're attacking are military personnel on military ships.
I understand that, but this is more of an argument of scale. Like, we're talking about blowing up cities for a nation. I'm talking about universal.
Well, we're talking about what's
level.
Just.
Yeah, but on a universal level,
these
what
are people
we're looking
who don't
at.
deserve this.
Yeah, but at the same time, if that's the government of their planet, unjustly, people are going to die in war. It's the government's job to protect its people.
Unjustly, yeah, precisely. But we're asking what is just. So we can't roll in the unjust into calling something just.
Unjust for the individual level, for those that weren't caught up in the war effort. I agree with you. But in total, I think it's justified because the government of that planet was in open rebellion against the government status quo. So they put their own people at risk. It's not the fault of the Empire the same way as the fault of Hamas.
Of not attacking civilians. I mean, I think this is why you support Ukraine, is that attacking civilians versus attacking invaders is in and of itself like a big imbalance of justice. You've got more justice on one side than the other. Like, even if you don't think America should be involved, like if you don't think it's America's fight, you would still think that the side being invaded is the side that's just or more just than the one that's invading.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying. It's just at this scale you're talking about. They have universes.
Like, scale is what makes it so hard.
But they have universes to police. They have entire galaxy, solar systems to police. One planet to them would be like a nation to us because we're only on one.
Well, I mean,
planet
it wasn't done for any of those reasons. It was done in order to like get an answer out of one princess.
We don't know if that was the actual intent. That maybe they planned to blow it up anyways. They just decided before we blow this up, let's try to use this as propaganda. Yeah, so
sure. I mean, look, I go back to your Japan example. Drop the leaflets, let people evacuate, and then do what you're going to do. Still don't think it would be justified under those circumstances, but it would certainly be a step closer towards it than what we got.
I agree. They could have done a little bit more to get the innocent people out of there, but at the end of the day, it's not the fault of the Empire if there's collateral damage in war. It's the fault of the government.
I don't think it was collateral damage. I think it was the target.
I feel as though, it was collateral damage. It was just you're just taking out the rebels.
That was good.
Okay.
That was really good.
I've been trying to get him on here for weeks, man. It's just the time.
I know. I try. I really have been trying.
That was actually pretty interesting.
That was really good. I liked it a lot. All right, Kel.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Who's the new father? You gotta unmute and or unmute and remute yourself when you come back on panel.
Got it. Okay, there we go. All right, Kel, go ahead.
GG.
That was a pretty good debater, though.
Yeah, no, that was a very entertaining debate. I thought.
Well, I meant the baby, but yeah.
Debatey.
There was the baby, like making its own arguments. Yeah.
Yeah, that's our mascot. It's the debatey.
Yeah. It's the rubber baby.
Debatey. GG. You're so cute. Okay, so I thought
new
Gandalf.
merch next week. The baby mouse pad.
I thought Gandalf the Caucasian came in strong. Okay, planting us with a real world example, saying that it was like the States versus Japan in World War II. I thought that iCow did a great job counteracting that and throwing other like real world examples to kind of counteract and like invoke empathy on the other side as well, with Tokyo, and then at the very end saying, well, it's genocide at the end of the day, and then kind of exploring the nuances of that, because it's like, when is it justified? At the end of the day, it kind of went back and forth. I kind of thought that Gandalf the Caucasian was going to have it towards the beginning, but honestly, I got to give it to iCow at the end. I feel like he did a better job at like diverting and getting his side across. But yeah, you guys both did an excellent job. GG.
So you went with
Ico.
Okay. All right. Anson.
Yeah, I gave in terms of argumentation, I really didn't feel a lot of force in either one of y'all's arguments. I gave y'all a lower tier score on that in terms of my points.
I like the pun.
The style and the delivery, y'all were about equal. It was about a mid-range. There was a little bit more passion this time around than the last debate, but it wasn't. I didn't really feel moved by anything that y'all were saying. The tactics wise, y'all both. I mean, it was a little bit below average in terms of. There was no real rhetorical trickery that y'all tried to employ. I was kind of disappointed. And the crowd, the audience, they weren't really moved that much either this time. The one area that I thought that one of you kind of moved ahead of the other was in the clarity and precision of your argument, and that was specifically with Tyler's what I thought was ridiculous, but it was clever. Tying the use of force doctrine in with like the empire can do genocide if somebody steps out of line argument, right? You could have blown that out of the water a whole bunch of different ways. When you started talking about Catholic stuff and getting into like the esoteric,
sure. Yeah, I know. I said that. I granted that at the beginning.
Yeah, and anyway, I don't know. I thought Tyler's argument was a little bit more fun in terms of like. Anyway, that's the only area of the clarity and precision section that I scored him a little higher. So anyway, yeah, I appreciated the debate. Next time, just one of y'all, make me feel like you don't like the other one or something. Jeez.
In my Discord,
I don't like you.
Argue back and forth all day.
Oh yeah,
I don't like
you.
I
don't think we've ever called each other names, like even in heated like disagreements.
Well, I mean, no ad homs. You can you can show disdain without an ad hom.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, clean it up.
So this one was really cool. I like the way that Tyler, who normally comes in with like one argument or an argument and a refutation, kind of broke that mold that he normally sticks to, and snuck in an attack here that Ico Rich didn't really pay attention to or speak to in the right way. The way that Tyler worded it was very important in this. He said, it is the government of Alderaan's job to make sure they protect their people. They entered the war, therefore their people are forfeit. And that Not necessarily in that way he said it, but he said it, which is the entailment that they forfeited their people's rights by entering their planet into the war. Now, I think that you could have been a little stronger when he was talking about the propaganda, because the propaganda he was saying, I mean, like, if you're building a fucking moon and aiming a laser at a planet, that's kind of propaganda. People should notice that shit way ahead of time, way further ahead of time than the pamphlets we dropped to let, you know, the people we were going to bomb know about it. So I think that could have been said, but he came back with some other things that made it really interesting. And Ico was doing a good job of showing, look, hey, propaganda was used. We gave him notice. We did these different measures in order to assure that ahead of time the civilians could try and get out. But you know, altogether, I had to give it to Tyler with this one, because that sneak attack, that was a really, really cool thing that he did there. And they just kind of glazed over it a little bit, but Tyler kept bringing it back to that with the justification. And so I had him scored at 9 points and Ico at 8, and Tyler got this one.
This wasn't a victory for me. This was a victory for Israel.
What? No,
it wasn't. Alderaan.
Alderaan. YouTube.
Alder Gaza.
YouTube disavow. YouTube.
Or what is it? What is it called in Superman?
I don't remember.
Small hats.
All right. Wow. Okay. All right. Well,
Strider had to make his appearance on the Lord of the Rings night. You know, Strider had to make his appearance.
Moravia is the country. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
In Jarham, for him.
So I'm not familiar with Riddle. Can somebody help me out? Hello?
That's a dude. So remember Drone Tech, dude I brought in here one time as well?
Maybe
150K subs on YouTube. Really cool guy. Not the best debater. He'll even admit that, but just a cool dude. He is one of his fans that I met in his debates I used to do before he quit YouTube. So I stayed in contact with him because we got along in debates.
Nice.
Cool.
Okay. All right. I got you. So, nice. All right. Well, so let's I'm trying to read that. It's all the way across.
Just remember that Cleaner doesn't think Tombstone's cool. Just remember that.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's just fucking asinine. Like, I like both of the Tombstone movies, the older black and white one and the one with I don't know what was his name. It wasn't
Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer.
Yeah, Kurt Russell.
Yeah. Did you like that movie? Because you're like, the background. I'm like, I got the Tombstone poster in the background.
No, I like it. His car, just as far as backgrounds go,
it's cooler.
Like that car's. I mean, you got to admit, dude, it's right there. It's fucking real. It's right behind. I mean, that's a winning background, bro.
And he's got a baby around there. So he's hiding a small human there.
Yeah. And he added a baby in periodically. I mean, he gets, you know, the backgrounding. He's got a good background for what he's doing.
I got pew pews up top here, but I don't want to go against TOS.
Yeah. Well, you just can't touch them. You can show them like they're like these. Can't touch them. Can't touch them. Not while you're live. All right. So, Riddle, are you there? Check that mic, make sure everything's working. If you're on a browser other than Chrome, you may be having trouble. I don't know. And the reason it's been explained to me is that because Streamlabs makes everything more or less open source, Windows doesn't like that. So, you know, it is what it is.
I don't know. I've been doing this on Firefox across everybody's different. Yeah, StreamYard, Streamlabs.
You must have it dialed in then, because most people are like can't get it to work on Firefox, Microsoft, or basically Brave. Brave doesn't work.
I've never had an issue with it, but I also only use specific Firefox logins on certain setups. Like for my streaming and all that, I have one profile. And then whenever I go to do something else on another computer, I have a different profile. And none of it is linked or cross-linked or any of that. So I don't know. Maybe that plays into it. I don't know.
Yeah. It's very relaxed debate night tonight. It's kind of nice. Kind of nice. We'll be done right at. We should be done right at.
It helps when everything you're debating is fictional,
right?
Yeah, we do religious debates too.
No.
Yeah, that's right. Come at me.
Didn't you say somebody in here you were going to recommend I debate?
Yeah, there was a debate. Cleaner, the guy below me. You can't.
Oh
see
yeah,
right now.
yeah. You guys should definitely at some point do a longer format debate.
Yeah, sure.
Because Cleaner's really good.
So, like, what is his position on religion? Just
that's the question.
It doesn't matter. I personally
he moves around. He's like flexible.
Well, I think he's a CIA agent personally. But.
Oh, okay. All right.
If you really want to know my worldview on religion, I think that Christians have a very good prescription for all of us to live by. I do. And I believe that there is a God of some kind. However, I believe that he made all of us, all life, and that he made that life with some basic elements and some basic ways that it's going to do things. And we may have constructed some things that were or weren't necessarily true. However, it doesn't matter whether they're true or not if they speak to the objective reality of things, which is the net positive for society. And so Christianity, being the prescriptions that it's got, are if everyone on the planet, you take the religion to the full extent if you want to find out whether or not it's good, right? So the full extent of everyone on the planet becoming Christian, everyone on the planet would have a net positive if we were all Christians, because we'd be helping each other the way that they, all of that. I can't say that about all religions, because some religions sectify even within the main religion and start fighting within the main religion.
Right.
So,
Yeah. That's not
so that would be my.
I think that's pretty much a lot of Americans.
That's why you need to debate him.
Oh yeah.
Sure. Yeah, we'll find something to debate about. I don't think that's unreasonable.
There was probably 5. I don't think I mentioned all 8 of my bait topics in there, but I got 5 of them in.
Right.
5 bait topics. If anyone cares to take the bait.
Okay.
Riddle, how's that mic working? Okay. I don't know. Maybe can't see chat or something. So listen, if you are trying to talk and it's just not working, go down where it says mute and there's a little triangle next to it, and you click that and go up and make sure your mic, and it's going to pull up a window. Make sure that your mic that you need to be using is selected. For some reason, a lot of times it doesn't automatically select the mic that you would like to use.
I think it might be connection issues, because his connection bar isn't showing up all the time.
Oh, it could be that too.
Right there on Streamlab next to the mic, on his name, his connection just popped up for a second and then went away. Not sure.
Yeah. In the meantime, it looks like it's going to be Tyler versus the Duckman. Unless we can get Riddle in here. Put some heat on. It's so frustrating when your audio or whatever is not working. It's just so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm frustrated.
You're frustrated?
Yeah, I'm frustrated with all these damn milquetoast debates tonight. Fucking, where's the fireworks? Where's the anger? Where's the passion?
How can I get passionate about stuff that's fiction?
Well, it's super simple, right? I mean, make the debates about the fiction, but parallels to Tyler was really close to doing it, where he was basically legitimizing like all of the horrible things that neoliberals like him believe by saying that it was great to destroy Alderaan, right? I mean, he was really close. It's just ICAL needed to punch him, be like, hey, dude, genocide ain't cool, man. Like what the hell, dude? You saying it's all right? The military-industrial complex. You're trying to starve families. Whatever. What you don't like people.
Well, part of it is I know he's a neocon, right? So to some degree, I'm trying to appeal to him instead of to the audience, since I don't really know the audience that well.
Neo-Keynesian,
I don't think
guys.
he minds the military-industrial complex that much.
Yeah,
he sees that as a good
I guess on foreign policy, neocon would be.
I was trying to appeal to him to some degree, but yeah, I understand. I probably should have been appealing more to the audience.
All right. Well, while we wait for Riddle to fix their stuff, why don't we just go ahead and have Ducky and our man Tyler get into it? Why don't we do that?
Hey guys, it was fun. I'm eliminated, so I can go, right?
Yeah, you can go if you want.
But I'll come
to,
next week. It was fun. I'll come any week where I don't have like a tournament that goes too late in the day. I never really know until I get out of the tournament. But
okay.
But yeah, it was fun. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, man.
The only opinion that really matters to me is Kel, and the fact that I lost in her eyes is a loss in my eyes. So
I've been trying to be a real gentleman about this, but Kel, you've got a booger and you need to go wipe it.
That's a nose ring.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's horrible. It looked like a booger.
Oh,
oh my bad.
That's gonna get clipped. I swear to God, there will be a clip of that tomorrow morning because
I know.
Because my audience is not. They're just not gonna let that go.
That's why I did it, bro. That's why I did it.
They're just not gonna let that go.
Kel, I really like your septum ring. Don't let them give you any crap for that. You look awesome. There's all sorts of guys who find that attractive. There's nothing wrong with that. And even if you're not looking to attract guys, there's all sorts of women that find that attractive.
Yeah, there's all sorts of women that find that. You can find them in a bar at like 3 a.m. lurking. They'll really like that.
I've had all kinds of weird piercings too. I mean, mine came out. But you wear yours while you're still young. It don't matter. You ain't hit the wall yet.
I'm just clowning. I got a bar through my dick, so
Hey, dude, I've had one of those too. Mine had to get taken out though.
I'm just kidding. I got yelled at. That's a bad joke.
Why? Okay, I was going to say.
Oh, I was being serious.
All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and move on. So I'm gonna hide Cleaner. I'm gonna hide Kel. Bye,
Hide
Kel.
your kids. Hide your wife.
Yeah, for real, right?
He literally hit his kid.
I got more. It's all right.
All right, what are we going to debate? Tyler, you got another topic that you really liked out of the list I sent you? That makes it go so swiftly.
Yeah, I remember that, and you guys were talking about...
You muted yourself.
I did? What the fuck?
I don't know. I don't have control of your hands.
I don't believe that. It's your fault. No, I think
Telekinesis is not on my list of abilities.
I'm not a big Trek guy is the only thing. I would like to complete the trifecta, but I just don't know that much about it.
Yeah, me neither.
So,
I think that you don't have to know a whole lot about it if we just want to pick if we can pick it off of the like Picard's were like, well, no, you guys already answered that. Hang on, let me do this.
I could do 25. Did Rey's mastery of the Force undermine the established rules of Jedi training and discipline? And take the no, that did not. And it was consistent with the rules of the Force.
And be completely honest, I don't really know too much about the new Jedi stuff.
Okay, you're lucky because I'm about to go all the way from prequels to fucking sequels, baby.
Yeah. All right. What about should the Prime Directive be abolished as it often prevents Starfleet from intervening in morally justified situations?
See, that's the thing. He's got a kid. I got a wife. We don't watch Star Trek. We've had sex before, so.
You were single once.
Oh, no, that's
you were single for a very long time, sir.
Star Wars is like the only space thing I know. Lord of the Rings. I like my medieval nerdy
And if this
stuff.
was Warhammer 40K, I'd take you all on it.
Yeah, Elden Ring lore. I know a ton of that.
Well, you guys pick a topic.
Let's go. Did Luke Skywalker's decision to spare Darth Vader and Return of the Jedi undermine the rebellious
You can
justice?
make one up. You can
All
make
right.
up a Warhammer topic. You could.
I don't know
You could do
Warhammer.
World of Warcraft.
That's what I'm. He doesn't know Warhammer. Oh,
You
I know
could do World of Warcraft. You could be like, why are the racials for
Will Sylvanas'
gnomes
burning
so
of
good and orcs
the
so
elven
bad?
tree justified or not?
Sargeras was justified.
Sargeras was justified. I agree.
Oh fuck! That's usually a hot take when I say that.
Oh no, not with me. I was Horde.
Shit. I didn't play that deep to when she burnt the world tree. I didn't do the whole jailer thing. I thought it was. I quit in Pandaria, so it'd have to be pre-Pandaria. Even prior.
What about Avatar? What about? Do you think 7 foot tall or 8 foot tall or whatever they are, mutant tail monkey creatures are in our future?
No, I still believe we're the most intelligent life in the galaxy right now until proven otherwise. Even leftists. Lord of the Rings were the oh, you guys just did that one. Okay. Yeah, you got a lot of Star Treks in here. Was Aragorn's reluctance to clean the throat? No, that's. I want something with some fire so we can make Anson happy here.
Is Data's quest for humanity overrated, and would he have been better off embracing his android nature?
You keep going back to Star Trek on us. I don't think either of us know anything about that.
All right. What about that's not a good one. Was Gollum the true hero of the story, as his actions ultimately led to the ring's destruction?
Was Gollum's actions? Say that one more time.
Was Gollum the true hero of the story, as his actions ultimately led to the ring's destruction?
I don't know on that. Where would you go? I don't even have a yes argument for that.
I don't think you can have a yes argument. I could try out of devil's advocate. But,
All right.
Yeah, you'd have to argue that intent didn't matter because it would just be pure consequence of him being that way.
Did Frodo's emotional distance from Samwise Gamgee reflect a failure of their friendship or a necessary coping mechanism for bearing the ring, and of course being stabbed by the Mordor knife?
I think it was a lack of friendship from Frodo's end. I don't think he was feeling Sam as much as Sam was feeling him, and it was more he.
Do you think Frodo and Sam were in an abusive relationship where Frodo was absolutely abusive of Samwise Gamgee?
I wouldn't say absolutely. He was very polite to him and very cordial, but yeah, at the end of the day, it was parasitic. It was parasitic, yeah.
Oh, it's definitely parasitic. What do you think, Ducky?
I don't really know too much about Sam. I know that he was dragged along. I know that Frodo tried to treat him pretty much as well as he could, but I don't really. I could try to argue the opposite. Sure,
that's all right. But he was a parasite. Anyway, was Han Solo and Leia Organa's relationship built on genuine love, or was it primarily driven by the adrenaline of war and rebellion?
Where do you go on that?
I don't know how it could be anything more than if you can't love the one you can't be with the one you love the one you're with. So now it just happened to be that they were just in the right place, the right time, and everything lined up. If it was somebody else that saved her, maybe it would have been, she would have been with them.
So you're saying she was just enamored and hopped up on adrenaline and all that, and look at this hero.
Not dressed up on enamored or any of those things. I think it was. It's kind of like the cliche "save the princess."
Okay, and I would go with that. It was actually true love.
Okay, good. We got one. So you're gonna Tyler once again is gonna be the affirmative and go first because he can't get enough of that. All right, and just to make sure that we understand this topic, this is about you could make it not necessarily about Han Solo and Leia, so you don't have to try and pick apart 6 or 8 films, putting pieces in place to prove that they liked each other. You can liken it to other battlefield relationship, just so you know. All right, just start talking when you're ready, and I will we'll make it happen.
I would argue that Han Solo and Leia had what was true love. From their inception, they did not like each other. The opposites conflicted, but oftentimes opposites attract. Their true love was not only established in the birth of a child, but they had a bad breakup. Their lives went separate paths. She was the leader of a nation and then in a second resistance, whereas he had his own job that he had to travel. You would have to tell me why a trucker leaving his wife for 9 months out of a year, but on a galactic scale where it's several years at a time, doesn't love his wife anymore just because he has to go out there and earn that paper. Him and his boy Chewie were out there doing their thing. When they were reunited, that love immediately sparked right back up again when all of the circumstances were different. So I think you're going to go for the route that because they split up, it wasn't true love. But I think you're taking two very alpha personalities that both had a set route and excluding the fact that they just tried to love each other in the gaps. So that's where I'm going to say it's at.
All right. That was your minute. Okay, you ready?
So no, the route I'm going to take on this is that there is a road. And when two people travel on the same road, they are more likely, if one pulls over, to stop and help the other. That is exactly what happened. He was hired to go do something. He was hired to go help this broken down person on the road. And in that moment, they got together. They did all these different things. They had adventures. They did all these, made memories. And that's great. But at the end of the day, if it was somebody else that did it, like say Luke Skywalker, who else did she have relations with? Well, I don't know. It wasn't just one person, right? And if it was true love would have been one person. I am 29 years old. I have one wife. I've waited 24 years for one person. I would never let that person go if that was true love. And that is not true love.
12 seconds left. All right. Now, I know you guys, you're both veterans now. You got things going on. Let's keep it clean. Let's make it entertaining. Pack some punch. Maybe a little bombastic nonsense. And let's make this last go around a good one, okay? Let's just start talking.
All right, so the reason that these two alpha personalities were in love, well, they were in love. The reason why they didn't stay together is because Leia wanted the free spirit, free bird. She lived a highly structured life as a leader of a nation from a young age. Everything about her was structured. This plays out similar in real life where we see these businessmen go out and get these BDSM dominatrices that burn them with curling irons and tie them up. She lived a structured life, and that free bird was the counter that she wanted and needed. She sought him out, and despite the fact that she couldn't change him and domesticate him, she still loved him. And as soon as they rekindled, so did that love.
No, not okay. So you're applying the modern sense of what feminists do now to my application of love. True love would never leave that away or leave their loved one to go and pursue something else. They would actually try and sacrifice something that they would like for their loved one, right? Because at the end of the day, I didn't go to school, but I'm still paying college tuition for my wife. I might not go to college, but I'm still sacrificing something for her. And that's what she would have done if she really loved him.
You're calling my view feminist, but you're saying that she should have domesticated Han Solo and turned him into her houseboy. He would no longer be the person
she
she
should have
loved.
turned into the housewife.
Did either of them ever move on to anybody else? They had a trauma in their family, which is why they split up. But did either of them ever move on to another person? Because as soon as they saw each other, their love sparked right back up again.
I'm sure that happened. That doesn't make it true love, though. That just makes it love. That's not true love. True love would be, okay, that's real. You can't get away from that. I'm going to get you no matter what. And that's not what happened here. She kind of went away to go pursue something else. She loved more than him.
Sounds to me like you hate truckers, pilots, and people that work on as flight attendants because they leave their partners all the time, sometimes for prolonged amount of times. You're saying that's not true love because they didn't find a way to stay with
rejecting your
their partner.
trucker argument because it makes no fucking sense to me, dude.
That's their
What
jobs.
I'm saying is that at the end of the day, these two people came together because of an experience, something that somebody hired them to do. So at the end of the day, if a person comes out and really likes the dude that ends up changing their car, changing out their window or something like that, that has nothing to do with the actual person. That is the circumstance and the person inside of that circumstance that leads to that. So you're saying that anybody, no matter what, can just go out there and really love somebody, and as long as they leave, go do whatever the hell they want and then come back, that's true love.
She had a duty. Her life was laid out in front of her. She had a duty to her people. The only choice is that she has to completely change who Han Solo is. She's a duty to her people to lead them. She has to domesticate Han Solo. And as soon as she does that, as soon as she takes the feminism route of the woman leading the household and domesticating the man, he's no longer the person she loved. And then the love would have been extinguished. But instead, even with 10 years separating them because of traumatic experience, they came right back together.
Han Solo. She relied on Han Solo for everything. You might as well marry him and make him the fucking leader.
I don't know. She can't. She has to lead a nation. Her responsibilities keep her grounded, though. Can we at least agree on that? She would have to give up her family, royalty, and title in order to be with him. So it would have to be him.
Would you have to though? Do you have to though, or could she stay that and fought it because she did really like him? And
she was the Princess Amidala before she was the representative Amidala.
And so why can't he be the king?
Or her mom was the princess anyway, so she belongs to royalty.
Why can't he be the king?
He's not. It's not one. It's not his characteristics, and two, it's probably something to do with the laws and royalty on their planet. Like, can any kingdom that's ever existed, can a king marry a peasant girl and just turn her into a queen?
Let me ask one question: is there any evidence that she even tried?
No, but there's no evidence that she tried to move on either, though. She was waiting for him. He was there. They were each other's one true love.
That's not true love, dude. That's not true love.
They were each other's one true love, and just because space was in between them, they were basically on a long distance relationship.
What does space have to do with anything? I met my wife on Discord. I waited a year before we had any type of sexual relations.
Yeah,
what does that have to do with anything?
That's just that's what I'm arguing. That's my point. What is them not staying together in the same place have to do with them loving each other? Their lives separated them.
Doesn't that build stronger connections? I was a lot closer to my wife.
And you're 100% right. It doesn't invalidate love because they separated after a long time of being together.
What is your point?
That's the point, is them leaving each other does not invalidate their love. And as soon as they came back together, that love picked up exactly where it left off.
Oranges. One person talking to each other every night and building an actual static relationship is different than the person leaving and never talking to them again and doing a duty that has nothing to do with the other person. That's not real love.
Nah, I don't know if they didn't talk. I don't think there was any better. They just didn't come back together as a couple after a traumatic experience. But the love was still absolutely.
All right. You guys, somebody, I should have, we should have had a real debate. So somebody could have paid for you to extend that.
I threw a couple things in there. I told him he hates truckers and pilots.
I heard that. All right.
That's a Gibbs tactic I learned.
Where's Kel? Oh, I can hear you fine. It's all right. It's okay. So what's up, Kel? What do you think?
Can't hear her.
Kel, we can't hear you now.
Oh goodness.
Oh, there you go.
There it is.
Is that better?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you see me?
Nope.
Oh.
She's gone.
Well, Confluence.
Hey, we got Confluence.
Hey.
Can't hear that guy.
He wanted to come challenge me to an Elden Ring debate.
I did.
Yeah, you're like this much too late. Where you been?
I just got home. And then Tyler was like negging me, so I had to join. Okay.
Yeah, he was negging you.
Yeah, he was. So I have to fight him.
Negging or nagging?
Negging.
Really, Tyler?
Negging him.
Yeah,
I was recruiting. I got 25 people I messaged on my Discord, like 10 on Twitter.
Don't let him tell. No, he wanted me specifically. Okay.
Oh. Okay.
You have to let us go at it, okay? It'll be a good debate.
Let's see if he survived this one.
Okay, awesome. Good performance, boys. So I would say that Tyler started off with a solid argument. Kind of the poetic, if you love something, let it go, right? Because Chewie and Hans are gonna reunite despite the circumstances, despite the, whatever galaxy they're in. Zuck, you immediately lost me when he's like, "Yep, it's not true love if they've been with more than one person. That's like not practical or true." And I thought, yeah, your whole kind of argument kind of fell on its face after that, and it seemed like you had a very like self like you only let your perspective be as yours. Like you didn't consider other ones. Yeah. Gandalf the Caucasian kept coming back, and I think you did a good job deconstructing your arguments as they came along. But I think you both put up a gallant fight. So good job. I'm gonna have to give it to Tyler on this one. GG.
All right, Anson.
I don't know how someone so pretty can be so wrong, Kel. Look,
Wow.
I'm gonna say this. Look, y'all's arguments were a lot more passionate. Really, really liked it. Y'all were actually. I could actually.
I tried,
feel some
Anson, just
stuff
for
there,
you. I
right?
really tried for you.
Yeah. Thanks. I appreciate that. The force of the argument is where I saw just a little bit more on one side than the other in terms of my scoring rubric for me to be able to say one person won over the other. But before I get to that, Princess Leia was a boss babe and she chose her profession over her man, whereas Princess Amidala offered Anakin to give up her career and go back to Naboo and be the humble wife. Princess Amidala was the real, true, loving, caring partner, and Princess Leia, she was just a feminist boss babe who couldn't hold her family together because she chose herself over her duty. But with all that said, the force of impact of the argument just a little bit more on Never Lucky, Rubber Ducky, and all the other metrics that I use: clarity and precision, style and delivery, strategy and audience. They were all about the same. So I gave this one to Never Lucky, Rubber Ducky.
Wow. Okay. All right. Cleaner.
I think that I'm probably on the opposite side as far as love is concerned on this one from Anson, because I see that within the understanding of what true love is, that means that no matter what the time and space, the separation that you're forced to do because of your duties or whatnot, the things that you have to do in the world to make a net positive and a better world, or because you're the one who has the only capability of doing said thing or whatever the circumstance, you get separated, you come back together and you're able to reestablish where you were at, like as if you didn't even leave. I mean, that is in effect showing a good metric for what true love would be, saving yourself until you come back to that person. And the reason that I say this is because we see it right now with military veterans all the time. And granted, there's a handful of them that do shitty things, but that's shitty people doing shitty things. The good people who are in love with their husbands and wives, and those husbands and wives having to go overseas, they come back and they pick it right back up where they left off. And so I don't see that moving forward and doing your duty would necessarily be a showing of not having true love.
May I say something?
He did a good job of illustrating that, which I think was where he made the foundation of what it was that he was saying. And from what I could tell, all of his arguments were framed around that metric. And he did a good job of holding it to that. And so on command of the argument, holding it in that framework, I gave him a higher scoring. I thought they did a really good job of going tit for tat. And I thought Ducky did a really good job of showing that, yeah, like just because there's a little distance here and there and all of that, like maybe they should have stuck together in their situation. He made a lot of really good arguments. It just all comes back down to what we see in the real world. So, yeah, on this one, Tyler, because he had just a little bit more command of holding the framework where he wanted it. And I thought that was a really good thing.
All right. So that's unexpected.
I just want to, can I say one thing to Cleaner?
Yes, sir.
I think you're conflating love with loyalty.
Well, so the conflation wouldn't be love and loyalty, all right? The way that you were framing the arguments was as if them separating and going and doing what they were supposed to do meant that they weren't in love with each other. Like true love, they'd be sticking by each other no matter what. But I actually see this, like I saw this a lot while I was in the military. Guys and girls, whenever they get together, one would have a duty and they would understand they had a duty, whether it was the guy or the girl. And the other one would wait at home until they came back. And that's what I kind of see with Princess Leia, because she was a princess. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand that. My dad is in the Marine Corps. I'm not a product of his first wife, but his second marriage. And they have a name for those people. They call them Susie Rottencrotches. But what I'm getting at is you made a direct point about how this ties back into love, about how, yes, when you come back after a certain amount of time and everything's like exactly how it was before then, that doesn't make it love. That happens to me with my friends who I haven't talked to or spoken with for 9 to 10 months, over a year, and we'll come back to the exact same fucking, like not even talk to each other. Like, hey, man, what's up? That's not love. I mean, that's a type of love, but that is more loyalty than anything. That has nothing to do with the true love aspect. Is what I'm trying to understand. Like,
well, and that's where I don't disagree with you. The distance and space has nothing to do with the true love aspect. It's the aspect is you doing your duty versus you doing the thing you want to. And Leia had a duty to her people that she had to do.
Yeah.
Solo had a duty to his crew and to what they were trying to accomplish. And so they had to go and do their duties first. But when they came back, if you took all that time they were apart out, there was no difference. They just continued on. It was like, I have to put this on hold right now. I don't want to, which both of them expressed when they were separating. They didn't really want to put this thing on hold, but they had to because they each felt they had a duty to do in some metric. And so they went to do their duty and came back and got to continue their relationship.
See, again, I just don't think that's true love, because I got a phone call from my dad when I was living in PA. My wife was still going through school to be an occupational therapist. And we dropped everything to come over here because he was having health problems. She actually had to call the dean of her administration, ask if she could do the last 8 months in California, and then ask for a residency over here, which thank gosh that she got. And then we ended up being over here. And, you know, my dad ended up, he's still here right now, but he has a lot of problems. He amputated his leg and they're talking about doing some other stuff. So what I'm getting at is at the end of the day, in my understanding, true love is you have to sacrifice, you have to try, at least try. And if they didn't even try to, like Tyler said, there's no evidence. How is that true love?
Well,
Since
no,
you don't
you
have
could
an
only go with what they say.
uncontestable definition, it's kind of just a losing argument, honestly. It's easy to loop on that. So it's like, you can't fucking, what is true love? You guys should have started with like a definition, probably. Like,
well, I would say one
people might not even believe in
definer.
that. It's like
One definer that you could see would be like whether or not they screw around while they're gone, you know, and like Han Solo wasn't just like running through fucking babes while him and Leia were separated.
True.
And Leia wasn't just like running through dudes while they were separated. Now, if either of them had done that, then I'd say, okay, they're not showing true love. They're not showing that they're stealing their heart for someone else, right?
Come on, man.
I would say okay on that.
Everybody cheats. It's not a sign of love. You could.
Well, I wouldn't even say they were
cheating.
cheating.
Love your wife.
I wouldn't even say they were cheating in that instance, Anson, because never of them they didn't really have a clear definition of we're in a relationship. They didn't set boundaries that we could see. So I wouldn't say they were cheating. I'm just saying it's a show of they do truly love each other, because while they were separated, they didn't. I mean, they may have like talked to some other people off and on while they were doing their jobs and whatnot, but neither of them ever gave anything else real thought. So, you know.
But that just kind of makes my point where, okay, if you're waited all this time and you have nobody else, when you just go back to the person you were just with, people do this all the time once they run out of the age. Like you hit 35, 40, and you just go right back to the person that you were just with 10 years ago because nobody else is available.
Well, sure, and I mean that's a lot of other people, but we're not talking about a lot of other people's story. We're talking about Leia and Solo's story specifically here. I would have to see those other people's story in order to make a judgment call on whether or not they were expressing true love.
We never got into it, but there was a traumatic experience that separated them. Otherwise, they were together raising their son. But the traumatic experience is their son turned to the dark side and burned down the Jedi Temple. We never went down that path. So
Yeah, well,
True.
there's another side to this too, right? The reason why I honestly agree with Never Lucky Rubber Ducky on his assessment about Anakin and oh god, I'm having a brain fart.
Padme.
Padme, yeah. You know, Anakin killed younglings to save his wife's life. Right? He committed horrid atrocities in the name of love. And the passion and the need to be able to make sure that those that you love are protected. You are, as a man, obligated to commit great violence to protect the people that you love.
But then
right?
she left him for it.
Yeah,
She's
I
like,
know,
you
but
killed
yeah,
him.
she's
That's
a
so
dumb
it wasn't
broad, right?
true.
Women are dumb.
Okay, yeah, I've had enough of Leia and Han Solo. Look, he was a horn dog. She looked hot. That's the end of the story. So
Even when
And
they
she
were
was a
old, they
princess.
came back together.
And to be fair, she was a fucking princess. How many of us
Right.
like wouldn't?
I mean, who
it's a
wouldn't?
princess.
So
it's literally like hearing a bunch of people saying, "Well, it's not like he would have hit it otherwise." No, right? Okay,
I
whatever.
can't argue against that. I can't.
So,
So-
like in Mortal Kombat, when you go up the ranks and fight people, you know how like there's a Goro challenger before you fight Shao Kahn? That's Confluence here. He's stepping in as like the final
Yeah.
boss for me.
So do you think that at some point Leia just heard a big giant voice going, "Finish him"?
Or she probably should have. All right, so
That was for you, Anson.
we're out of order tonight, but apparently Confluence heard that he could debate a very specific subject, and so he ran right over here to challenge our man Tyler. We're going to do that. That will be the last debate tonight. Before we get into that, because I know people will just run right off. Before we get into that, tomorrow it looks like at 5 p.m. Central Time. I need to confirm if it's Central or it may be that weird ass Eastern Time. But anyway, I'm gonna be on a panel hosted by this Riley. What the fuck is her name? Riley Grace Rochong, RGR, which is apparently a trans woman, and they're gonna and what they want to talk about tomorrow is the obviously the Charlie Kirk situation and the situation based around that with the right. So and since I am, on the right, I was contacted to do that. So this will be interesting. It'll be interesting tomorrow. So anyway, that'll be I think at 5 o'clock tomorrow. I may be late to it. I think I'm supposed to play golf tomorrow, so we'll see. But anyway, I don't know that I've had. This looks like maybe like this. I was doing some quick research while you guys were, wondering why Han would hang out with Leia. I mean, boobs, right? And so apparently this dude is a graduate of a law school, like University of Maryland or some shit. So this will be fun tomorrow. It's gonna be good. You guys should all be there. I will of course go live, I believe. Looks like it's going to be done in Discord, which look, when someone's going to do it in Discord, the number one thing already is they plan on muting you. So just know that. So we'll see what happens. It'll be fun. Anyway, I want to let everybody know about that. Oh, okay. We got Mr. Alley Cat knows what's up. RGR has historical significance in the debate community, a destiny orbiter. Interesting. But got famous for starting the What is a Woman debate with Demon Mama on Twitch. Nice.
Hi. Are we gonna wrap up pretty soon? I'm probably gonna.
Yep. Yeah.
We got one. We got one 7-minute deal to go.
We already have the prompt too.
Well, thank you guys.
We'll go right into that. Kel,
Nice
I'll
to
put
meet
you in
you,
the back
Tyler.
where you can nap if you want.
Good job, man. It was fun.
Yeah, it was.
You guys-
Thanks.
You got to listen though.
You guys got to work on your game. When a woman asks you if you're going to wrap up soon, you got to tell her, "Yeah, I've got plenty of condoms."
I have 3 kids. I don't know what you just said.
The thing is, I've been married so long that hasn't been a question in 20 years.
What the fuck is a condom?
Hold what?
It's the thing single people use to have fun.
It's the thing you use when
Right.
you recycle your ex-wife.
So our debate topic is the ending to Elden Ring. He thinks that Ronnie the Witch or Rainy or whatever you want to call
Yeah,
her.
there's going to
by,
be great arguments because nobody's going to know who any of this
yeah, is the best ending. And I'm going with the Chaos Flame that purges the world and starts everything anew in a form of chaos is the best ending. So I think he's taking the positive, I guess, on this one.
You know what's positive is that you're taking all of my patience with you.
I went on and got to people, man. I did my best.
All right, no, I got you, bro. I'm having fun with it. All right, so who is first and why are they first?
So
He's
I'm
first.
How long do I have?
You got 1 minute for an opening.
Okay. Do I start?
You ready?
Yeah, I'm good to go.
Just start talking.
Okay. Well, Rani is obviously the ending of Elden Ring. If you played Elden Ring, that represents going against the order and going with the romantic and the experiential and the existential point of view. The 2 fingers that Gandalf the Caucasian, racist name by the way, wants to posit is a nihilistic contrivance to a false order. And I think to me that is endlessly cucked. That is such a loser take to go on with. You're gonna follow the order. You're gonna burn it all down. For all of you who haven't played Elden Ring, that means you burn everything down to the ground. To me, that's insane. I'd rather pick the romantic option, the hopeful option, the endless option, the one that has like potential. I'm always gonna pick hope over nihilism. I'm not gonna go down the drain of accelerationalism. To me, that is just leads to the fall of society. And so, yeah, I'll end my opening there.
All right, you had 5 seconds left. That worked perfect for you. Just start talking, Tyler.
All right, so the Order in Elden Ring is a corrupt society founded on a lie where a woman uses her powers as a shaman to manipulate, kill off an entire race, Ronnie herself is the daughter of this woman. Ronnie kills her brother to achieve her goals. She betrays and gets all of her friends and compadres killed. She also kills people that work with her just because they, wanted to turn her into a doll. She's an awful human being. At the end of the day, the only way to cleanse the society is to completely purge them of this corrupt order that is an authoritarian state, does nothing but oppress the people. It even takes away their ability to die. It turns them into mindless zombies so that she can preserve her family. It's the most selfish act. They are evil. They're the enemies. They're the bad guys in the game. All of them. You just are with the one that happens to be using you as her vessel to achieve her means, which is the exact same as her mother's means, just with a different light. She instead worships the moon because she's a pagan.
All right. You got some heat there. All right, ready? Just when you guys start talking.
Take your paganite murderer and you get the hell out of here.
No, okay. You want to burn everything to the ground? You think starting again is going to fix things?
Yes.
How?
Absolutely.
In what sense does burning everything to the ground and building up? Like building up from what? What's the foundation?
You need to kill the corrupt entities. They took away destined death. They completely corrupted the lands. They took over all the people. They need to be completely destroyed, and all of their traces need to be rooted out of society.
Why do you think it's going to be any different next time?
I don't know, but it's not going to get any better until you completely remove that rot.
No, so why wouldn't you pick the romantic option where you get to go with Rani? You get to travel 1,000 years around the moon. That's obviously, from a personal point of view, that's obviously the more romantic and like obviously the best option. Why would you burn everything down with a vainful fucking naive hope that things are going to be any different?
You just told me, why don't you take the portion to communism? It's still communism at the end of the day, even if I drive a portion to it.
No, you get to go with Rani around the moon. I mean, that's an experience. That's something you're saying. Let's start the cycle over, which has started over 1,000 times. You're saying burn it all to the ground and do it again and again and again. And to me, that's nihilistic. That is absolutely useless, and I will not stand for it. I will not abide it.
She's repeating the cycle that her mother did. She's lying
to
her. She's killing them off.
The cycle is burning everything down, and
everyone that was loyal to her died. Every single person that was loyal to her died.
You said they wanted to make her into a freaking puppet, brother.
She killed her brother.
They wanted to make her into a puppet.
No, they wanted to make her the next god, something her younger brother gladly accepted because he knew that it wouldn't delete him from the earth.
Did she accept it?
No, she didn't.
Exactly.
It was her duty.
That's a lack of agency. That's a lack of agency.
It's her duty as a ruler.
I want to abide that lack of agency. You are promoting nihilism. You're promoting a lack of agency, and you're just hoping, in a vain hope, that everything will just get better the next time. And I want to see your evidence why it will get better the next time.
You're telling me it'll get better the next time in the same way, but you're saying keep the order in place, the corrupt order that has done nothing good for the people. But this time will change the rules. She just has better PR. She has a better PR team. That's it.
I think the best option is you take the 1,000 years with Rani around the moon. You know it's going to be good. You know it's going to be goading. You're going to have a good time, and you take that experience for what it is.
She hired assassins to kill her brother. She hired assassins to kill her brother. Then as soon as those assassins got the job done, she betrayed them. All of her people that follow her, she betrayed. What makes you think she's not going to just turn around and betray you next? You're just a useless vessel being lied to. That's all it is. You're being lied to so that she could take her mom's spot, usurp power out of order. She was greedy. And we need to destroy the monarchy in order to fix it.
That's the same black pill that matches up with
the Chaos Flame is the United States Revolution. No, that's the Chaos Flame. We started from nothing and we built America. That's how I know it's going to succeed.
Okay, so you want America to go back to ground zero and start again?
No, I want America to leave the monarchy, the corrupt monarchy, holding it in place, giving it to their sons and daughters. Instead, we burn it down. We go over here. We start anew from scratch and we build our own thing. What's more American than building your own thing from scratch because you don't want to participate in theirs? Freedom of association, First Amendment rights.
Instead of fixing the problem, you want to burn it all down. Instead of going to the moon and trying to solve it out there, you want to burn everything again and and hope that the American dream will happen again. You think lightning can strike twice in the same place? Well,
it's still a better choice than keeping the king in place. We're just going to put our own king in place, one that's killed everyone that's fallen to her, everyone that's loyal to her died by her hands. We're going to put her in power. She won't do that to us, trust me. No,
she's been honorable. She was going to be turned into a puppet.
She killed her brother. And then betrayed the assassins that killed her brother, the Nox assassins, the women. She also betrayed other women.
Yeah, you betrayed people who are terrible to you. I feel like that's like a morally.
She hired assassins. What did they do to her?
Sometimes you have to hire assassons.
And then she let E.G. die. Those assassins came back to retaliate, and she let E.G. die. And then she had you kill her wolf friend. I can't remember Blaine. She had to go kill Blade.
Blade. I mean he's a casualty. He's collateral damage.
Her loyal servants are casualties. You're really selling me on this one.
The U.S. is pretty big on collateral damage. Sometimes it just happens. I don't know what to tell you.
You just have to kill all my supporters and most loyal followers. They're just casualties. Trust me, I won't do it to you either to get my power.
This is the opinion between experiential knowledge and nihilism. And who would pick the nihilistic end? You would pick the dung eater ending.
You're calling our founding fathers nihilists?
You're the kind of guy who would pick the dung eater ending, aren't you?
You're calling our founding fathers. I picked every ending. I picked every ending. I never picked the dung eater twice.
Oh, you picked it once. You picked it once.
Dung eater comes from Japanese lore. He pulls people's souls out their asshole.
Jesus. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I know. All right.
Hey, you like that fire? There's your fire, Anson.
Yeah, that was good. Kel, how Well, how did you judge on that one?
Hold on, I'm going back to my notes section. Yeah, I thought it was interesting that Confluence wanted to come in and immediately go for a character attack on the opponent. I think that, kind of immediately, undermined his credibility to me. I think this was probably one of Tyler's strongest performances, although Confluence did come back on it solid a couple times. But yeah, I feel like you guys were fighting like two different arguments, but at the end of the day, you guys both did a good job of diverting and keeping the energy up. The topic moving off of that one.
All right, Anson.
Yeah, my nerd knowledge did not extend to understanding anything that y'all were saying. It was like a foreign language to me. I had no idea, so I have no fun quips to give or commentary. The force of the argument, I thought Confluence pulled ahead of Tyler just a little bit. Y'all are both about the same on clarity and precision. Style and delivery, I thought Confluence again pulled ahead slightly. But in terms of strategy, I thought that Tyler, you had a how do I put it? You were more calm and collected in the way that you responded to Confluence's unhinged spurging. And so I thought that you were a little bit better in terms of that strategy because it made you look like you were above the fray a little bit. And the chat, they didn't make a peep about anything. I felt kind of bad about the chat. I don't know if they're still alive or not. Chat, come on, wake up. But yeah, I gave it to Confluence by just a little bit as 1 point. So
okay. What about you, Cleaner?
I think that Tyler started out with a decent foundation, and Confluence started out with a direct showing and attack. He actually did something that's really good in debates, which is start out with what you believe in, what you believe your opponent is going to say, and then come back to your direction that you're going to try and take it in the debate based off of how you believe they're going to take things, like where they're going to try and go and attack you. And that's a good thing to do in an opening because it gives you something to build onto for the arguments. It gives both sides some place to start going with the argument when you get into the meat and potatoes of it. So I think that was really good for structuring and for trying to show a good command and form of structure of the argumentation structure and how everything's supposed to go, especially in a short-term debate. Now, where he lost points from this was just when he was making the arguments against what Tyler was saying. It did look like Tyler had more control over where it was going because of the way that Confluence was over talking and almost giving that Destiny-esque type spurg. I'm not saying exactly like it, but you know what I'm saying. So it held a lot more to Tyler holding the cool head and control over things throughout the whole thing.
Sorry to Irish
The
goodbye.
argument-
I'm gonna peace out. Have a great rest of your evening, gentlemen.
Night.
Stay safe.
Later.
bye, Kel. Good to see you.
Wipe your nose next time too.
All right. So
arguments
okay.
going back and forth. They were both right on, and I mean, it was really close there. I think Confluence had some really, really good points there. I think Tyler had some really good points there as well, and those kind of came down equal. So it really did just come down to command in this one yet again. And I think throughout the meat and potatoes of it, Tyler showed more command over the argument, keeping a cool head for the most part, and trying to keep things to the points that he was trying to bring up. And so I gave it to him on this one.
All right. Thankfully. You guys satisfied with that?
Yeah, I hope Chad is. I tried to give him a show tonight.
Shit, that was fun.
Oh yeah,
That
that
was
a good time.
if I know what you're talking about, it probably would have been more fun.
Yeah, that's the thing, Grid. You gotta play Elden Ring.
No, I
You don't
don't
even need to play it. The story was written by the guy that wrote Game of Thrones, so it's really good.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Well,
The
I
time-
mean, I liked though that it was talked about in a way that for the most part, if you just imagine the Phoenix, chaos, chaos pretty much like the Phoenix. And so I could understand that for the most part without knowing anything about Elden Ring, whether or not I play it or not outside, right? But just within the framing of the argument, you could come to it and be like, oh well, yeah, that sounds kind of like the Phoenix, and so that side of it you could kind of understand. It was pretty good though. Y'all were heated. You were in it. You were both going tit for tat.
Yeah,
and like
cool.
I said, it for
was
me it
cool.
came down to that last bit of just command, man. I think you both did really good though.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna send you guys over to Glenn Lawrence. He is still going. He's probably gonna do like another 15-hour stream or something stupid like that, which is fine. He can do that. I don't do that. It's been a great night. We could have had a few more debates, could have made some money, could have done a lot of things, but I didn't. Instead, we gave you great entertainment for basically nothing. And you should. We got Powder Dusty jumping on last minute.
What's up, nerds?
What's the nerd wars are over, baby.
Who lost?
All of them. All the nerds lost.
Actually, I'm King Nerd tonight. I renounce my sex, and I'm now a virgin again.
Again, all the nerds lost.
You renounce your sex, so you don't have sex anymore.
Yeah,
Lost
like,
in different ways. Okay.
Well, I haven't. All the sex I've had prior is now wiped clean.
$20
a lot of
comes in
wiping,
from
I
my
don't
buddy.
Red Recovery donated $19.
Well, wiping off my stomach, too.
99 cents. Super chat. Hey, friends.
Hey, welcome, Savage Red Recovery. We're just getting out of here. Sorry if you guys dropping in last minute, man.
This is racist.
It is racist, actually.
You guys can rewind the damn stream and see me do amazing all night.
This
I'm
is
just the king.
bullshit. He's discriminating against felons. Me and Red show up, and he's like, "Fuck these dudes."
I am actually discriminating
Of
against
the
them.
nerds.
How did you know he was a felon?
I've known Red for a minute.
Okay, all right. I was just gonna say, like, that's a hell of an assumption.
I don't know. I think you can read that book by its cover.
Well, we can read the fact that you watch your wife get banged, but unfortunately, me and Dusty have known each other for years, so
that's awesome.
That was like the double shot. Boom, boom. Nothing nice for anybody, Red.
Well, unfortunately, since the death of Kirk, I have no filter when it comes to.
You're just lodged up in your feelers, just crammed right up there.
All right, yeah, I'm jetting too. Take it easy.
Irredeemably emotional over the passing of
See you,
your
Tyler. We'll catch you later, man.
Of your celebrity icon.
Well, it's not so much that it's because he's a celebrity icon. It's because I have a daughter that's the same age as his daughter. So
just wedged up in the feelers of your own empathy.
Grid, I would love to sit around and listen to this Savage Red guy talk, and Taylor, of course.
Well, you can leave. That's cool.
But it's been good, man.
All right. If you're gonna go, you can just go, my man. You don't have to shoot shots. You can just leave.
Yeah, Savage Red. You know, I really appreciate your screen name, the Savage Red. I really like that a whole lot. You know, the culture.
You don't gotta kiss my ass. You already shot your shot. You can just leave.
You know, I cultural appropriation. That's good stuff. You know, I'm a big fan. So you have a good night. All right.
Yeah. Who am I appropriating?
Don't forget to take your lithium.
I don't take lithium.
Well, you ought to look into it then.
Or you just fucking leave. Yeah, exactly.
Wait, Savage Red. Who are you saying like watch people fuck their wives? Who was that directed to?
Oh, that was directed to the first guy that left.
No.
Wait, Tyler?
Yeah.
Tyler's okay.
Tyler's not that kind of guy, brother.
No.
Listen, man.
Where you get that information from?
Savage seems to be a little, you know, he's
a little unhinged. I mean, I fucking know Tyler.
He's in a place.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not unhinged. I'm just not putting up with the bullshit. And if you're on some bullshit, I'm just gonna assume that you're a lefty, like Dusty.
You're gonna assume Tyler's a lefty.
Dusty the lefty.
Dusty over here, Flow State he's halfway lefty, so you know.
But I'm not stuck in my feelers.
For a quarter lefty, but you know,
I do think all drugs should be legal, and I do not care about traditional marriage.
That obviously is not a lefty position. So.
It's fairly libertarian.
Well, to be fair, Flow State, you saying I'm in my feelings, but if you had a 3-year-old daughter if you had a daughter that was the same age as Charlie Kirk who adores you, and you see someone get killed and their kid run up to them, when they hear the gunshots, their kid gets scared and they want to go to their dad. If that doesn't affect you, that means you're a psychopath.
Look,
I've had that accusation leveled at me before, but
I probably everyone here fucking is in their feelings over Kirk, right?
I'm not.
I mean, violence happens every day. I don't need a Twitter video to remind me that bad things happen to good people.
Oh, fine. Okay, just me and Savage Rat. Put me in the camp with Savage Rat. I guess I'm with him.
All right.
Fucking hell.
Put a tissue box in between the two of them.
Yeah,
I just don't think that turning to getting angry and violent is the way to honor the man's memory. The man's memory was built on peaceful conversation, peaceful debating.
The best way to get angry is to be snippy at people online.
Well,
Charlie Kirk would want snippiness online.
Red, I didn't say you were getting violent at all. I just said that's what I believe.
Unfortunately, I haven't gotten violent, so I haven't tarnished his.
Yeah, I haven't.
His
I didn't say
legacy
anything
for
about
one.
that.
For two,
I didn't say anything about you specifically.
The man was speaking on campus.
You chose to
and
do
sharing
things that
his
women do and
opinions.
take it like I was talking to you. That's something women do.
He was sharing his opinions and got shot in the neck for it. So I don't know. Like I don't know. So we're supposed to do exactly what he did because clearly what he did got him shot. So,
I mean, I actually think that Kirk was a pretty brave dude. I
do too.
I'm going to be talking about all of this tomorrow on that dude's channel. He's I guess trans woman, but it's a dude. And and a Destiny orbiter or former Destiny orbiter. I'm not really sure how that works out, but
Destiny was probably involved.
We're going to be talking about that tomorrow. Sorry?
Which former orbiter?
RGR.
Okay.
What do you know?
Hasn't he debated
something,
Andrew?
No, just vaguely.
Okay. All right.
Hasn't he debated Andrew twice?
RGR? No, that's RTP, I think.
Oh yeah, that fig.
Yeah, he got railed pretty hard, honestly. So.
Well, most people who go at Andrew with a weak argument do get railed.
I think he also got railed against. I think the same guy got railed against Rob Noor. I think Rob Noor just like hammered him pretty hardcore. But
yeah, Rob Noor screwed his whole day up.
They were both crying in the fallout of that. That was wild.
Apparently, it was wild. I haven't seen that. I haven't taken the time to watch the whole thing.
I didn't watch much of the debate. I did watch the aftermath though, and I don't remember who brought up whose family first or like. It was just really petty squabbling on both sides. I joined the panel after she opened it, and that dumpster fire was hot.
Well, Flo State, I think I'm pretty sure he brought up Rob Norris, saying he was the type of guy that didn't get laid.
Yes,
and
that's
Rob,
what.
And Rob said he was married, and then he was like, "Well, are you married? Do you have kids?" And he didn't want to answer those questions.
Yeah, I don't know, but so that's. I mean, if I just accept that is exactly what happened, still both of them to me are looking like whole bitches. Kind of after that, with all the crying.
Yeah, well, Flo State, you really just like to disagree.
Probably does.
If I agree with that, am I being agreeable or disagreeable?
Well, to be fair, you're literally just a less homosexual form of Destiny. Like you just want to be contrarian no matter what.
Okay, Savage, you shouldn't
you
bring
keep
up people's
pushing
families at all, though, right? And you brought.
I
up
mean,
family.
Savage
That's the
keeps
first
bringing
thing
these
you
things into
fucking
question.
did,
He
right?
might find out I'm a more homosexual Destiny.
Yeah,
clip.
Yeah, he might if he gets too close. Who knows?
I ain't gay, but I'll fuck you to prove a point, Red.
I'd subscribe to that.
Flo State.
I'd subscribe.
But Flo State, even if you
I'm going to send you guys over to Glenn's, man. You guys are off the rails. I'm getting ready to go to bed, man.
Do you see this closet door here? Wide open.
Well, Flo State, even if you did sleep with me to prove a point, you would still be less gay than Destiny because he's probably sucked every dick from here to the West Coast.
I mean,
right.
You're not. I mean,
we can agree on that point, then.
Thanks, Greg.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, I'm going to send you guys over to Glenn's. Hey, Red, thanks for dropping by, man. You You're awesome, dude. You guys all have a great rest of your night, and be cool. And obviously, as we all know, Flow State is out of the closet. The closet door is wide open. You can't go back in now. So,
just in time for Nashville Grid.
He doesn't even like girly girls. He likes bald dudes. So like that's pretty. That's pretty.
Use that information however you.
Just in time for Nashville.
That's right. Use that information however you will, folks. Just be aware. So anyway, hey, you're all cool. You can be anywhere you like, but you can't be here anymore. So you got to get the fuck out and go hang out over on Glenn's place and
stay safe.
be cool. See you.